I thought I heard oil, but I guess it's going to be gas. But it is 11 o'clock. We'll be back at 2. The market headed back into the lows of the day and looking a little bit sick. So we'll get that headline. If there were any headlines just there, I don't see or hear anything. But there was just another press through the low of the day on the futures. I just got in and out of Tesla quickly. I only have one short on. But let's get to Sharif and Adara. I see Adara short. That's probably a good thing on Google.
Yeah, what was up with that? What is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your girl, Adara. There's a lot of pointing there. And I'm Sharif. And yes, we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other chat. 4 laps, killing it already. What up, Killer Cam? Easy Trader, Trader Revolution, yo to you. Andrew, Chow, what is up to you as well, my friend? Darwin and Big Kyle Burdett already gracing us with their presence in the chat. Micro Player, Market Sniper, B. Davis, TH, Ronaldo, Fat Figure, what up, my man? Paul Goodson. We also have Mix Master JT, Mateus Lane, Discipline Trades. I love that name. Krishna, we got Chuck of all trades, Big Adam DeLuce. What's up, my man? Alec B, Swade, Robert Woods, Aaron, and Joanna Brewster, Pitchbull. We got everybody, baby. Well, it's just moving too quickly now. I can't get. We got Rami Rahim and Oscar Kaufman. Everybody in the chat, good morning, Adara.
Good morning to you, Sharif, as well. Someone was calling us Lady A and Big C. How are you doing today?
I like that. That's
I thought it was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you up to? How's it going?
I'm all right. You know, keeping an eye on Tesla. The Katina man was yelling about Tesla absolutely crashing down. He is not wrong at all. We were on our way up. It looks like to 178.5, and down it goes in a hurry. Tesla is almost negative on the day. 176 and a fifth is the line in the sand. That's where we closed out yesterday. We've just broken that now. Tesla looking to go negative on the day, although marginally. Look for a possible bounce at this level. This is yesterday's closing price. I'm not going long. By the way, guys, today I'm in the sim. I did the exam. It's all done. It just takes a couple of days to turn around and allow me to trade back live. So today, hopefully, last day in the sim, and then tomorrow we'll be live again. But yeah, 176.20. Low of the day and yesterday's closing print on Tesla. Derek, yeah. I see some triangles.
RIP Tesla. That is a rough look there. Oof. I have a trade. It didn't work out, but I liked taking it. So basically what happened was I looked at Google. I saw this consolidation, and I said, yes. What did I say yes to? I don't know. I like the short. I like the range. I thought we were consolidating for a breakdown because look at these kind of lower lows. I was like, oh, perfect. This looks like a breakdown. Good times. Take it short. Whew. I don't know what that voice was, but I like that look. Then, and it's funny, right as I get in, Sharif's like, hey, did you see Google? Because I think he just knew this would be the type of chart I would love. We got almost to 173s, then we bounced right back up with the viciousness. Initially, we rejected at 173.20, so I did add a little bit. Once we broke above 173.30s decisively, I got out. If we continue to kind of see that 173.20 level, there could be a play for me here, but I do not like that we kind of actually even have higher lows in this consolidation. So with that pop in mind, I might have to politely decline Google for now, but that doesn't mean there aren't opportunities later. And I mean, to me, this consolidation was so good, I would have been kicking myself had I not tried it. But you know what else is really fun to try while you're trading? Are the futures.
Yeah, I know. Just be careful, though, because some of these will wipe you out.
Yeah, should have probably worded that transition better.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the tick values, how much money you need, everything ready there to go. So let's get to it, baby. We're talking about the futures all week long. Today, we'll talk about the different vehicles, the different trading instruments that you can use to get in on the future. Already see it prefaced right there in the subtitle. So let's go. Intraday futures trading offers leveraged exposure to the underlying markets, but it requires a strong understanding of each instrument's quirks. Here's a breakdown of the popular options that are typically looked at by traders. So the underlying instruments, these are contracts. These are what we call the futures contracts. There is the NQ, which is the E-mini NASDAQ 100. This tracks the NASDAQ 100, the top 100 names on the NASDAQ, a stock market index of, you guessed it, 100 large non-financial U.S. companies. That is actually a requirement. I didn't know that, funny enough. The ES is the E-mini S&P 500. It tracks, you guessed it, the S&P 500, a stock of the market index of the 500 leading U.S. companies across various sectors. We'll talk about more about that as we go on. The ETFs that give you a vehicle into the futures, exchange traded funds, okay, that you can trade. These are non-levered. The first one is the triple Qs, the QQQ, which is the Invesco QQQ Trust. This tracks, again, the NASDAQ 100, similar to the NQ, but as an ETF. An ETF is essentially a basket of securities. It is kind of a new version of mutual funds, ones that can be traded on an exchange, hence exchange-traded funds or products. ETFs are part of the ETPs category, exchange-traded products. And then there's a SPY. Big Kyle absolutely loves the SPY. He's always going long and short on the SPYs, which is the Spider S&P 500 ETF Trust. It tracks the 500 S&P 500 index, very similar to the ETS, but again, as an ETF. Then you have your leveraged ETFs. Sean loves the TQQs. There's also people that love the SQQs on the floor over here. So the TQQs is the Pro Shares Ultra Pro QQQ. A lot of pro there. I don't know why. It provides a 3 times daily levered returns on the Qs. Essentially, it's amplifying your gains and losses to the tune of 3 times. Very similar look to the SQQs, the Pro Shares Ultra Pro Short QQQ. It provides a negative 3 times daily leverage returns on the triple Qs, excuse me. It profits essentially when the triple Qs fall and loses when it rises. It's an inverse ETF. And here are some peculiarities and differences between these boys. So the indexes, the NQ, the ES versus the ETF. So the NQ and the ES are futures contracts. They expire on specific dates. No such thing for the ETFs. The Qs and the SPYs do not have expiration dates. They offer a more continuous holding, okay? The leverage products, the TQQs, the SQQs, they magnify daily returns to the tune of 3 times, both up and down. But they're riskier and they're not really suitable for long-term holding due to the compounding effects of their makeup. So keep that in mind. These are not ones that you should be holding for a prolonged period of time. I'm not saying overnight's wrong, but the market cap, very important here. The NQ focuses almost exclusively on large cap tech. The ES does no such thing. The ES is very much weighted to the 500 top companies across all sectors, okay? So gives you a more, distributed market exposure, whereas the NQ gives you a really big tech heavy approach there. What's going on here? Who's this? Okay, and here are 2 images thanks to Dara showing the NQ and the QQQ giving different signals at different times. So sometimes they don't jive, and you just need to be cognizant of that. And if you're going to trade one, chart off that one. Don't chart off the other like me. I trade the TQQs and chart off the NQ. Maybe not a good idea. Okay, and some intraday considerations that you need to take into account before choosing which futures instrument to use. Liquidity, very important. The NQ and the ES, highly liquid. These guys are being used by the institutional players who want to hedge. So there's ample amount of liquidity in these guys. Nary will there be a time when you don't actually get the price posted there, and the spreads on them will be quite tight as well, okay? Making them easier to enter, easier to exit as well. The leverage TQQQ and SQQQ can have, though, a bit of a wider spread because of their leverage nature, so you need to be cognizant of that. And volatility. The NQ and the TQQQs can be more volatile due to their tech-heavy composition. The ES and the SPY, they give you, a broader, potentially less volatile alternative. So if you're not looking for that volatility, as Adara used to say, maybe the SPY and the ES more suited down your alley. And I want to talk about trading each instrument. So the core mechanics of buying and selling are similar for all these instruments. However, consider the following factors. For the NQ and the ES, focus more on price movements. And there's also a bigger difference with respect to margin requirements, which is your initial deposit to hold a position. And there's also contract expiration dates. So you need to be very aware of how much money you have to have in the bank in order to trade these two, because you may not be able to. The Q and the SPY, they're similar to the NQ and the ES as we talked about. They don't have expiry dates, but consider the expense ratios, which are annual fees associated with ETFs. We've all heard about ETF decay. It applies here as well. The TQQQ and the SQQQ, due to their leverage, focus on short-term holdings to avoid compounding effects, strictly manage risk with stop-loss orders, and be cognizant that the spreads on these levered products can be a little bit wider at times, okay? And I didn't add this to the lesson, but I'm gonna mention this on the second time around. We're gonna talk a little bit about contracting size and tick value, how much money you make or lose based upon the increasing or decreasing ticks on the futures contracts. We'll get to that after Neil drops his hot lines on his lesson of the day, Adair.
Yes, we love lessons of the days. We do love hotlines as well over here on how to trade. Thank you so much, Sharif, for delivering that lesson there. And yeah, I think the SQQQs, one thing as well I will say as someone who did trade those for a little bit is it can kind of be a little bit of a mind warp. Because it'll be like watching the Qs go down and then you're like, woo, you know what I mean? So I would just say always, it's certainly an interesting one, but the SQs can be fun to trade. There can be some opportunities. You may be asking, why is Adair short AMD? I may also be asking that, but I want to explain why I did this trade because I did have my reasons. So it's funny, I had this on my side chart, and right as I noticed this double bottom, I was like, I have thoughts. Then I see someone in the chat also mentioning the double bottom on AMD here, and I'm like, this is an interesting one. Why do I think it's short with this double bottom? I think, as Sharif often says, you have to look at things with the balance of the evidence. I struggled for a little bit. I had a whole, emotional violin string, movie climax moment over here where I was like, what do I do? With the dramatic old music playing in the background, because I like the look of this. I was cognizant of that double bottom, but I said, Adair, you generally have lower lows here. We're rejecting off the 90 EMA. Take a small position. Take a smaller-ish position. It's not like teeny tiny, but, it's not huge. And then just try to trade it the way you feel most comfortable in. I do like this as a short, and I know I didn't have to take this trade, mind you, but I watched in the book. I said, I want to see what we do around 60s. We got to 60s, and we slowed down considerably. Since then, we've touched into 80s twice. As I say that, we touch it again. But generally, I'm watching what we do with that 90s area. Every time we get to 80s or 85s, we go back down, right? So I'm comfortable with the AMD trade for now. Very cognizant of the risk, very cognizant of the double bottom, but you got to go after what you love. So not like I love AMD or anything, but I like the setup, and that's what matters. Also, Google, I flipped long. I just played a quick pop here for 18 pennies. Please just punch. If we keep popping and bouncing around this range, there may be some more ranges for me to play in. Also, shout out to Kyle Burdett, mentioning this this venti drop here on Starbucks, bit of a double top. I like this double top as a short, but also I'm cognizant for myself, for my own purposes, because I am not a super short scalper there like Mr. Kyle Burdett. I think these kind of higher lows and this 90 EMA bounce are interesting, so I don't know if Starbucks is one I would play right this second, but shout out to you, Kyle. Thank you for pointing it out. It is on my side chart. And AMD, go AM down. How are you doing?
Here is what I want to look at. So again, guys, I'm in the sim today. Okay, we'll hopefully be live tomorrow. Had to do that yearly compliance test, got it done today, but still don't have access to live. So hopefully tomorrow. All right, the soft one, I've been looking at Microsoft a lot more lately. I like the way it trades relative to the moving averages on the 5. That has been a continuous observation of mine. So here it is. Initially, we had that dump down, a little bit of a recovery. Lo and behold, the highest print to the 20, but all the closing prints south of the 10 EMA on the 5, the 20 EMA on the 5, okay? And then we tank 417.60. We move up right into the 10 period, reject off the 10 period again. Now we're doing a dance where we got above the 10 period. Let's see if we close above the 10 period, because what I'll be looking at is that 420. Shout out to all the people out there. Katina, man, hit it. There he is. Thanks, Dale. Thanks, guys. So if we get into the 420 area where the 200 period is, the 20 period's hanging out, I'm going to be looking to short the soft one at that level. MSFT, I'm looking short off the 20 period. We'll see what we get for that name. Apple seems to me to be the strongest of the bunch on the day. We'll see if that lasts, because I feel there's a lot more trading rather than investing happening in Apple these days. You'll be able to see exactly that by watching how it trades into the close. How many times have we watched Apple retrace its gains all day into the closing show, where it basically either comes down a little bit below 190 or just closes a skosh above 190. A lot of trading on Apple these days. That's my observation. Now, let's get to the small cap gappers, or the non-Mag 7 names, because there are some non-small cap gappers. Obviously, CRM is involved in that. So I'm keeping up Lucy from yesterday. It seems to have a lot of respect for yesterday's closing print at 95 pennies. It's still doing that fight, the $1 fight, a little bit above, a little bit below. You see it cleared it by some distance today, getting above a $0.25, but down we went again into 95 pennies. So we'll see if Lucy is able to stay above that buck, or if we're able to take any key trades off this. I love the fact that it rejected the closing print from yesterday in the pre-market and then used that exact level after the bell in order to hold support. So Lucy looks good, and I left it as a holdover from yesterday. HUMA, another small cap gapper that's showing up on my chart today. It doesn't have a whole lot of volume, I'll just tell you that. 3.2 million shares on a $9 name, just ain't cutting it. This one isn't really a small cap gapper either. It's a $1.1 billion market cap. The float is as follows: 81.5 million shares, and I didn't load up trade ideas. That's exactly what I forgot today, so we'll load that bad boy up, and we'll get you the short float, if any, on HUMA. So I'm keeping tabs on that. Up and to the right it goes. This one hasn't even broken the 10 yet, so HUMA on watch. Momo on watch as well. M-O-M-O. What is this stock? Let's find out.
Oh, Hello Group. It's Hello Group.
$1 billion market cap Adara, so another non-small cap gapper on the bigger side. Again, shallow volume today, 2.5 million shares done in a $5 name. Not exactly ideal. The float on this one is 280 million shares, so this one could take some shareage here in order to get going to the high side. Let's now load up trade ideas and find out what the short float is on Momo and Huma. Let's load up that super quick. HUMA, 4 2/3 on HUMA, and then Momo is 2.2. So, you know, not negligible, but not anything huge like what we were seeing yesterday on some of these names. So MO on watch as well. CRM is a short until it breaks, I guess, the 10 or the 20. It hasn't broken either. So keeping an eye on CRM. ONMD, keeping an eye on that one, but that one is sinking below the volume-weighted average price, so I'm less inclined to trade that. So is SMFL. That's a holdover from the pre-market. It does seem to be finding a bit of a base at that 200 on the 5, so we'll keep tabs on all these, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also clearly keeping tabs on Google. Tabs, pun intended, like you could have tabs open on Google. It actually wasn't intended, but I'll take it. So yeah, you might be like, Adara, you've been long, short, and all around here on Google. What are you doing with this name? And I don't know, maybe a hypothetical question here, but I did initially like the short, right? Like my initial plan for Google was the short. I saw this consolidation range, and this range was such, to use a Sharifism sometimes, an Adara Panera type range, that Sharif was even like, hey, so Adara, Google? Like, before he even knew I was in it. So this is certainly, it's the type of look I like, I'll put it that way, right? Tried the short, didn't work out, managed it, fine, whatever. Then I switched long, because I was like, okay, the long worked out, but now I'm back to short. Why am I back to short? Because we did have that little wick here around this, where was this, 173.20s, and then we sold off a little bit. I was like, okay, there's something on Google here. I think it's a short. We have not decisively broken above that 173. If we get into 173.15s, that's kind of a level of support and resistance I like on Google, on mostly the book, but also a little bit the chart, kind of the midpoint of this little chop and churn area. So that is the area I will be playing. I have enough shares that I can actually kind of hang out and take pieces out of this position, which is something that's kind of been working for me. I do need to be scalpier, so I'm really trying to either take scalps on names that have those bigger moves, or if it's going to be kind of a more defined range move, I'll be taking pieces in and out as I go. So I'm looking for 83s for the first part of my position out on Google. If we break lower, I'll be able to get low. So that will be the goal. Manuel Palma mentioning PYPL. I had an area I liked at PYPL, but I haven't looked at it in a while, so I don't know if it's still here. Yeah, no, I kind of more like that very tight. Was it in the 3 minute? There was a range in which I liked. Yeah, okay, so here it is. So I kind of like this 62.20 to 62.90-ish area. Yeah, relative strength, and I agree, Manuel Palma. We had a nice little Mizuho upgrade for this one. They also announced that their what is this? They have this PYUSD chain thing on the Solana as well. So that nice look. I know clearly not a lot about crypto. We have this nice bounce here off VWAP. We've seen that continued bounce. The thing is, we do have a slightly lower high here. I don't know. I think PayPal is kind of a range trade. I'm just not really sure what the ranges are as they continue to develop. So I'll keep an eye on that. Thanks, Google, getting me that Google search to the downside there. Meta also, I want to shout out Kyle Burdett. This is what I was looking at as well. And then Kyle messaged saying that he's interested in that 467.50 area. I kind of like 467.20s just for myself, just areas I like. But I think, yeah, that 467.50 does give you definitely a better price. I have no committed area on Meta here yet for myself. I'm just keeping an eye on it. I definitely think I am most obsessed with Google. Also, not like I want to short Tesla. Also, I initially drew this because I was like, oh, we'll have a little bit of a move down here. Yeah, no, so I'm going to delete these lines because they're completely moot points here on Tesla, and I drew them in the pre. But yeah, this Tesla, if we reject this 176.50 area, this actually could be an interesting short. I have no qualms about shorting Tesla low of day if there's opportunities to do so. Clearly, I'm a little bit short biased, but right now we're doing okay. Also, I forgot to mention this, but I did get out of AMD where I planned on boring trade. How are you doing?
Good. I want to answer Adam's question. He's like, what does the ES stand for? I mean, the S&P, where's the E? Like, where's it coming in? So apparently this is it, Adam. E stands for the E-mini because it's the E-mini. Oh. And then the S is just the S for the Standard & Poor's. And then they didn't call it ESP. Maybe because it's like extra sensory perception. I don't know. ES is what they went for there. They don't want to call it ESP, Katina, man. Oh, electronic? Yeah, it's E-mini.
Oh.
Yeah, well, electronic, yeah, EU, that's what it stands for.
I like that.
The E-mini, S&P 500, according to Gemini. So that is the look there. So we'll keep tabs on that. So what I'm looking for here is a retracement on Softy into 420. I still haven't gotten it, so I'm gonna just pack my patience for that. Did you have anything you want to say?
No, I was just gasping at Google. I have no comments. I'm just happy with Google.
Okay,
but
cool.
I don't have anything I need to say, no.
All right, so we'll keep an eye on these bad boys. I'm also inclined to look for Tesla along here. So now what we did was we came into that area that we closed out yesterday, that 176 area, and then we found a bit of a base. It's not really retracing as aggressively to the high side as it did to the downside, that's for certain. But I just want to see exactly how we dance at this 176 area. It's pivots as well as the yesterday closing print. So I'm going to keep my eye on this area and then look to go long. It did defend that 175 and change, 175 3/4, 175 and 2/3. Quite well with bottoming tail candles. First, you got a doji, and then we're getting nice candles to the high side here. So I could be persuaded to get into Tesla, especially possibly into that 178 area, Katina man. I think he's long Tesla as well. I'm going to guess at 175.75. 175.78. Yes. So yeah, this one is headed to the high side. I like it to 178 area. We definitely had a lot of interaction with that 178, both in the pre when that news came out about whatever, and then again we consolidated there on the way down to around 1045. So Tesla looks good to me here.
Yeah, Tesla, I'm very happy I didn't decide to take we'll go short Tesla 176.50s. Yeah, happy I didn't do that. Tesla could be a nice little long here. Not my type of trade, but I'm really happy with what Google did. I'm so happy I saved a piece for the dream because I was able to kind of get that little wick here as we got into low of day, that 172, where was this, 172.69s. I'm really proud of myself, I have to say. Please just punch. Got out the first part of the position at 83s, then I ended up getting the last part at 85s when we pushed back up here. That being said, if we keep rejecting 173, I'll kind of want to play this how I played Tesla yesterday and just do these rinse and repeat rejection shorts. I am short biased, so I mean, I will trade long. I had a long at Google earlier, but I find for whatever reason, I think I'm more on the ball, and I feel like I trade better when I go short. I don't know if that's me. I don't know if that's psychological. Maybe I should like journal this to find out. But I think if usually I feel better in short setups, so we'll have to see how that goes. I did try to take this long on AMD though. I wanted 164.80s, and I press my order. I go to monitor my little Google, and then by the time I look back at AMD again, seconds later, it's already up to 165.20. So I said, clearly AMD does not want me on this ride to the upside, so that's okay. If we keep bouncing here, which we really do at this 165, AMD is a long for me. I've really only been looking at these two names apparently. Also though, that Tesla rejection I was looking for is, I don't know if it's kind of coming in. I don't want to go short Tesla still, unless I have like so much confidence and so much confluence here. But I do not dislike this pause I'm seeing at 176.50 because that was a level I liked earlier. Also, I want to look at Patty AAP was saying, oh, no PDD today. And I was like, you know what, I haven't even really looked at PDD today. So we'll take a look here. Oh, hi PDD. I like this. I love this VWAP breakdown. I love that it's happening at 153.30s. Why do I love that? Because, you know, as Sharif was saying yesterday, I really agree. VWAP's just a level, right? It's about what you do with VWAP, or if there's things that make sense with VWAP. Look at how we had this earlier area around 153. Now it's coming into confluence with VWAP. Lower highs, flat bottom. I think short. I think short. I want to short PDD. So I think that will be the goal. Thank you, Patty, for reminding me of this guy, PDD. Right now, though, yeah, just probably looking for some more Google opportunities. AMD, PDD. How are you doing?
Good. Looking to get short on the Zon here. I'm liking a lot of the setups that are coming in on some of these Mag 7 names because what I'm seeing is like a curl back into moving averages. So Amazon just had a topping tail candle through the 20. I originally had my you can call it a pop trade, I guess a dip trade, whatever, at VWAP. I was like, okay, this looks interesting. It's been rejecting off the 10 umpteen amount of times. It hasn't touched the 20 as of yet, and it was really going through the 20 there. So I'm like, all right, put your short at the volume weighted average price. But I'm like, okay, I'll just take a smaller position here, and then I'll look to DCA into VWAP since they're both really close together, where I'm talking about the 20 and VWAP on the 5. So short Amazon at this level. I didn't get my Microsoft short, sadly, didn't make it up to 420, even though the 20 period came down a little bit into that 419 3/4. I'm seeing a very similar setup coming in here on META at 468. It's also a 20 period retracement on the 5, so I could absolutely be persuaded to get into that as well. Let's take off Apple here because I'm not really trading Apple as of yet. So we'll look for a meta retracement. This area is 468, but you know, you got to front run it a little bit. So what I'll do is I'll hang out in the low 90s. The end of the trade for me is going to be the break of 468.5. Looks like I may not even get filled here as it's on its way down again. 468.5 is going to be the area where I want to get out. That was the consolidation area bottom that we put in from around 950 till really tanked at 1035. So if we break above that level, I don't think my trade is accurate any longer. So we'll look to keep both those on tap. So looking here for the DCA to come into the Zon at VWAP. The other trade that I've got set up, guys, is the dip trade into Tesla here at 176 1/3 to get a better price. I'm looking for a 178 retracement. We'll see if that one comes in. So those are the trades that I'm currently looking at right now. Tesla looking for a dip trade long. Meta looking to go short at the 20 period on the 5 and short Amazon at this level. The end of the trade on Amazon for me is going to be the break of 180.5.
Well, yeah, nice look there on Amazon. I feel like also I want to shout out because you've been like, like you're killing it with the Microsoft. So you were saying, oh, I've been trading Microsoft more lately. Yeah, you go with you had like over $1 winner yesterday on Microsoft. I think
it was in the sim, but nice, you know, it's all good.
Still got to celebrate. But yeah, no, I mean, I just want to shout that out because I think that's awesome there.
Appreciate you, Derek.
Yeah, no, appreciate you. Always happy to be here. Appreciate everybody here. Also, will I appreciate PDD? Will the P's and appreciate stand for PDD? I don't know. That worked better in my head. But I do like this short. Like I said, I enjoy a flat bottom break. I enjoy a quadunk off this VWAP level. We're going to have to wait and see if it actually comes to fruition. What trade am I? Oh, I got my Google. I was like, what's happening? Yeah. So Google, I got back involved in here. This is basically just going to continue to be me taking this out as we get to the bottoms of these defined ranges that I like. I don't know if we're going to see it pop back up in Google. If we break decisively above 173, bye, bye, bye. I'm not going to be in sync with you anymore. Also, my Tesla short did not work out, but I'm super proud I took it because I'm happy with the management, and B, I was obsessed with this. I was like, Dara, you know you're going to regret this trade if you don't take it. You were waxing. You were like, Tesla 176.50 short. So I said, Dara, take your Tesla 176.50 short. Take it with a small position, just so you can continue practice getting those reps in, getting those sets and working and pushing. So took it, risked about 15 pennies. I want to see what we did at that 160 break or 176.60 break. We had that 176.60 break. I got out. Good times. Yeah, PDD, not as good of a time. We're getting into that level where I want to see what we do here. If we break above this previous high, I shall be outie at this 153.70s level. So let's kind of see how we go. Also, I still have eyes on Lucy. Thank you very much, Neil, for getting back to me on this. I want locates on Lucy. I've been yapping about Lucy and how I want to short Lucy yesterday, and I didn't do it. So I don't want to force myself into this trade, but there are levels I like on Lucy. One of them is that 114 level. One of them is that 108 level. One of them is $1. One of them is 83 cents. The other one is 70 cents. So if any of those levels come in either direction for me, I shall be involved. Also, yeah, PDD, if you want to get PD down, I like that. Yeah, I'm going to have to monitor both these trades. How are you doing?
All right, let's have a look here. So Tesla still hasn't triggered yet. I may miss out on this trade. So, yeah, it sucks to be me. Even in the sim, I'm frugal. I just can't help it.
I'm the same way. I get it. It's still, you want to trade like you're trading real money.
Yeah, no, I always do that. Amazon is a bit of a problem here, all right? So the stop is already in place. It's not stopping at VWAP here, so this could be trouble for me if Amazon continues to go. The stop's already in place. We're along at 16s. We're 20 pennies out of the money here. So this could be very interesting here if Amazon continues to head north. What is the future up to? The future is retracing off lows, 18,623 low. Now we're in 18,680 territory at the 20 on the 5 on the future as well. Also short Meta, just got the short on Meta here at the 20 period. Where's my Meta trade? There it is. Okay, so we're short at the 20 period. The stop is already in place. If it breaks 468.5, that's the end of the trade. So I'm looking to get short on both the 20 period on Amazon as well as Meta. Both a little bit in trouble, quite frankly, but we'll see exactly if we're able to get that retracement on both these names. I was initially looking for that trade on Softy, but it didn't make its way into the 20 period as well. Let's look at Tesla here because we almost got printed there. I think, how low did we go? We got into 35s. I'm sitting at 33s. So there you go. We don't get filled, and now it's 30 pennies higher there. So, you know, no good, no good. But we're waiting. Maybe we'll get filled at said level. All right, let's see what the chat is up to. Big Kyle says AMD retracement towards 166 short. Let's have a look here. We're at 165.33. 166, Big Kyle is thinking. Let's have a look at that. What's going on there, Katina Man? It's Tesla. The Katina Man's printed on Tesla. So whoever's looking at that, you know, if you weren't as frugal as me, you're taking that and you're printing on it. So shout out to you guys. Shout out to the Katina Man. This is AMD, though. Let's have a look at AMD. All right, so what did we do here at 166, Kyle? We had a lot of topping tail candles through 166, so you can feel that there was a lot of selling here at 166. Yeah, I happen to agree with that level. It's a price action level, but I'd say, Big Kyle, you're going to have to pack your patience here because if we have the same type of volatility, and typically we don't have that same intraday volatility. We don't have that same midday volatility as we do during the morning show. So if you get up there, you're going to have to watch out because it can wick all the way up into the 2/3 of a dollar. But I happen to like that, especially if you get above the volume-weighted average price. The 200's also pointing at that 166 level, Kyle, even though I don't typically trade off the 200 intraday. Just thought I'd point that out. Things seem to be headed higher here, though, guys. So it looks like Meta, I'm going to get stopped out of Meta, and it looks like I will get stopped out of Amazon as they both ascend higher than what I anticipated. So we're going to have to keep eyes on that. Meta and Meta and Amazon both headed to the high side here.
Yeah, as someone who has been mostly in these shorts all day, I'm going to have to rethink my life a little bit here. Google continuing to push higher, should have probably managed this a skosh better. It's all good. We're going to pop out now. Google, okay, let me out. Thank you, ma'am. There we go. Out of Google. Yeah, not my best day. I am red and everything right now, but you know what is not red? My positivity. We're still bullish on going forward. Honestly, though, I think sometimes you have to take those. I find as well, and I don't know how these is. I was talking to Sharif about this last week. I find I trade, I don't want to say at my best, but I trade at where I'm more comfortable if I feel like my back's against the wall. If I'm like, grr markets, then I want to be like, no markets, I got you. So I'm going to come back with that viciousness. So I'm okay with that. And even then, like, there's no trades except for this management, this Google trade that I actively like dislike. I should have known better with Google. I should have known better. I'm a little bit disappointed in myself just even getting in on that in the first place. But this AMD, happy with the management. What else here? Tesla. Honestly, as much as you will look at this and be like, Adara, why would you short Tesla here? It was a level I liked. It looked like it was working out. And I really wanted it. And it's like, if you're going to be more upset if you don't take the trade, and you really like the trade, take the trade. So that's what I'm doing here. Also, this Lucy. I love the look of Lucy. I will still be interested in Lucy. Kind of rangy, but I think like I'll take it either direction, but I would like the short. Thank you so much, Neil, for getting me those shorts there on L to the U, to the C, to the Y. So if I see, I don't want to force myself in this just because I have the locates, but I mean, yeah, this $1 level could get kind of spicy for me and Lucy. Yeah, thank you, B. Davis. Appreciate that. You always got to say bullish positivity, right? Like the market isn't going to give you extra shares in positivity. You know, you got to do that for yourself. You got to work for it. So there we go. I'm not out of too much in mind here. I'm just kind of keeping an eye open, seeing what the market's giving me. Some people mentioning Robinhood. Okay, Robinhood is kind of interesting to me. So we had, it's not like a push back your chair moment of interest, but it's kind of interesting. We had these VWAP bounces here. We had this higher high. We wick up near this 2230s, then we go down. But look where we're trying to bounce. Are we below the 90 EMA? Yes. But look where we're bouncing, that previous area of resistance around 2190. I'm not sure which direction we're resolving in Robinhood yet. I think what we do around this 2190 could be key. And as I speak, Robinhood's like, yeah, I am going to go to the downside. So nice look there. But how are you doing with your Meg 7s?
Yeah, just got in this Tesla position, so now it's make or break time. And I just noticed that it rejected off the 10 on the 5, so this could be trouble, baby. We'll put in the stop here, and the stop is ready to go, so we'll see exactly when we get there. All right, JCSE, big small cap gapper halted, $1.31. We're going on the 5th minute right now. Let me tell you what the top is super quick on this name. JCSE. I'll give you all the details on it in a second, but the top is 132, so 1 penny higher than where we halted. The market cap, $6.5 million. The amount of volume done today, less than 1,850,000. And the float is 1.8 million shares, so quite small. And the short float is negligible, 0.3% of the float is shorted. JCSE halted to the high side. Here it is. What is this? JE Cleantech withdraws registration statement on Form 1 initially filed with the SEC on May 31st of last year, whatever the hell that means. In any event, it's causing it to pump up from 75 pennies into $1.33. So we'll have to see exactly what happens here. All right, we're still short on all these names, and here we go. We're coming back a little bit here on both Amazon and Meta. Neither of one triggered my stop, so I'm continuing to watch that. Tesla is the one that I'm kind of taking counter trend here, but that didn't trigger my stop either. We're long at 33s, is printing 23, so we'll have to see if yesterday's closing print, which is at 176 and a fifth, actually ends up being that level of support. Stops in place, so we'll see what happens here. CompuCare team, what is your best advice? Keep and hold your position, or better to day trade so you'll always lock in profit? I think you can do a bit of both. You know, that's what I do. I swing on my personal account. Everybody knows the trades that I take. I always let you guys know. And we day trade here with the firm. So I don't think you need to do one to the exclusion of the other. I think you can, you know, definitely try a little bit of both. So that would be my look there. All right, the ZON just came back down into the 20, so now we're break even on the ZON, but it hasn't triggered my profit taker. The one I'm more concerned about is Meta. I see a bit of a hammer candle coming in there on META, so we'll continue to watch that. One thing we haven't mentioned at all is an NVIDIA. And I don't know if anybody talked about this, but NVIDIA broke that 1150 today. I don't know if the Big Kahuna's mentioned that, but that 1150 was, you know, kind of a line in the sand for some time. Now, look, we broke it, but true to form to NVIDIA, the bamboozlement was real and it was fast and furious because we did break it there yesterday. In the late day, we broke it to the high side 55s, broke it again 58, but every time we seem to get above that, we retrace a little bit. And today we have 25 low, so $25 off that nice move. NVDA, always doing its thing. 1125 low, 1158 high.
Yeah,
Oh,
NVIDIA, like
chats.
that
Sorry.
could be like it's like doing its thing as it's lingo, yeah.
Wantahada 199 super chat. Any idea why the SPX ticker is frozen?
I couldn't find anything.
Let's see. Let's have a look. I have the SPX ticker right here. So here's the look. Let's go to the 1 minute. See if it's moving. Oh, it is frozen. Huh. Neil, look at that. Even on my platform, SPX frozen. It's actually frozen. It halted at 941. That was the last print. This is the 1 minute look on the SPX. The last print that I have, this is IBKR, came in at 942. So 2 hours now of freezing. I don't have a reason why this is frozen. Let me have a look at my blotter to see if anything can come up there. Let's go SPX, which is the SPX index. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, I don't really have anything there. This is it. Stocks fall with bond yields after use of economic data. No, I don't know why the SPX is frozen. Sorry about that, Juan. We'll keep looking out for that, and we'll have everybody look for that. Big Kyle Burdett, $2 super chat. Join Swinga. Yes, Big Kyle, I got you. Yes. I swing trade. I got it. Big Kyle is the man.
Oh, yeah,
I gotta tell you the truth. Yeah, he sent me some uplifting comments today, so I gotta shout out Big Kyle Burdett, one of the OGs there in the chat. All right, this Tesla long is doing okay, and it's the only one that's doing okay, quite frankly, because the other two are out of the money. So we're gonna wet our beak on some profits, some sim profits today on this TSLA traded there.
Yeah, you know what's swinging is my P&L. No, I'm joking. It's mostly just to the downside. But yeah, Lucy, I totally missed out on that short. Still watching this. Like I said, 83 is the level I like on that. SPY, try to go long, and then it's like not out right now. I try to go short because I'm like, okay, we're pausing at the same level I like. And then the second I get out, because we break above 30s, then the SPY is like, oh, actually, I will go down now. I'm like, okay, I need to take a break from that one. LUCY, clearly I want to look at because I literally typed in the ticker here. So let's take a look at L to the U to the C to the Y. So this one has fallen down here. I will be watching what we do at 83s. But yeah, thanks again to Neil. Very happy I have my shorts so that if I do want to short, I can. But yeah, this Tesla, as I was going to say, it's kind of getting rangy here. This little like 75s to 33. Shout out to you though. That's a great look there on TSLA.
Yeah. We're printing on it.
Oh yeah, I mean.
Sim print, obviously. Sim print, guys. I'm in the sim.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're all down for prints of every kind. So yeah, this Tesla, I kind of want to play this range almost. That being said, I know we could push higher. So I have thoughts on Tesla, but right now, yeah, don't have any trades on. Like I said, I've not been trading to the best of my abilities today. This PDD, I still like the look of this breakdown. Didn't play it right last time though, so I think I want to wait. If you don't have a great read on a name, be very cognizant of that. I have not had a great read on the SPY. I've not had a great read on PDD. I feel the best about how I feel about Tesla. I didn't play the trade right, mind you, but I still think there's some opportunities there, and I have levels I like. Same with Google for that matter. I think Google's flipping long again, so I might have to flip back to long with Google. Down to the day with this name, but I did have some profitable trades on it, so that's what I will be keeping my eye on. Places Munch actually I don't want to say my best name because I'm red on it, but Tesla, my least bad name of the day, so I think we might have to see if we could ride in that Cybertruck, find some trades there, because I know you've had some success with that. Let's take a look at CRM, because I know some people are mentioning CRM. Any other earnings? Ooh, it's a pushback in the trade. Look at that. Look at that.
We need a pushback animation. Fabian.
I don't know how you would do that, but.
Fabian, we need like an Adara pushing back. I know Fabian's already got like a to-do list like this long, but either, I mean, come on, Fabian.
But yeah, so the pushback in the share happens when I see something I really like on a chart. And I mean, CRM, support, resistance. Resist support, I tried to combine the two words, I couldn't. Support stints? I don't know. But we're doing some kind of interesting flip here that I think is cool. We're trying to see a higher low. We're trying to bounce off the 90 EMA. This is not one that I have a play on right now, but I like the look of CRM. I think the sellers were definitely in force on Salesforce yesterday. Let's put it that way. This, they went Mark Benny off on those earnings. It was quite the look. But so these 90 EMA bounce I think are interesting. We are, though, getting these failed wicks here into 217, so I think this could go either way right now. Oh, Kyle Burdett making some jokes there in the chat.
Is it readable?
Is
it a readable comic? Because with him, you never really know.
He's just making some jokes on the swinging and how I was talking about pushing back on my chair, so it's pretty funny there. Shout out to you. Big Kyle Burdett. Hopefully I'm going to have some big trades right now. But right now, just, I don't want to say disappointment because we're not disappointed. We're just waiting for some opportunities. I do think, though, that I like PDD here if I take that with small size. How are you doing?
Good. We put some beak wetters out now for some of these names. Amazon. We're short Meta as well. But it looks like we're going to be getting out of Meta real soon here as it is accumulating. So I got out half the position on Meta to de-risk at that level. So we're negative on Meta. Even though we're sim negative, it's still negative. So out half the position there on META. We've been wetting our beak multiple times on the Cybertruck. I've got 3 outs. This is the 4th here, so positive on that name. But Meta is giving me all sorts of trouble as it really is now breaking through the dang volume-weighted average price on a closing basis. It looks like at 469, so we are well out of the money, 50 pennies out of the money on this Meta trade. The same amount that we're in the money on the Tesla trade here on Meta. So I'm going to see if this closes because that's really interesting here on Meta. So I'm keeping my eye on that. But I want to mention what Manuel Palma wrote there in the chat. He's like, AI is testing 28. We all saw the AI release today of earnings, and it was a bit of a tough one. But before I go to that, JCSE Open, HOD 143. So keep your eye on that if you're interested in those names. Let's have a look now at AI. Wow, that was a big boy zigzagger right there, eh? Wow, so it's compression pattern central. But as the textbook says, compression patterns resolve in the direction of the trend most of the time. So are you really surprised that it pumped up? So he was saying AI testing 28. It's above 28 right now, 28.08. 28.18 is the HOD. Let's load up the side chart over here so we can get the full look. It's up 17.5%. Let's do a little bit of charting here. All right, so it's going to be some time since we've been at these levels. Let's go to the daily. All right, where is the next level of resistance for AI? Well, the last time we were at these levels was March 21st. And the top there was 29 bucks. Kind of a random area, and it's only 2 days really. 29 bucks. I'm probably just going to go ahead and say that even 30. You have a lot of intersection with 30 back in November and December last year. Hard to say, to be honest with you, Manuel, because it's been a hot minute since we've been up at these levels. But yeah, 30 to me is going to be the area where I look for a mean reversion. I guess that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Yeah, so that's a look there. AI, good move up, no question about that. Meta is giving me all sorts of problems here. I'm in trouble with Meta, so I'm going to have to change my stop now as it is now closing above 469. So I'm going to go 469 and a quarter. If we break back above a quarter again, I'm a gonzino on this trade, so we'll look to cover 469, and then we'll give it to 40s because Meta's nuts and it's super spready, so you have to really give it that area. Now, the one we're absolutely printing on, unsurprisingly, is Tesla, because this I absolutely loved off that yesterday closing print. We talked about charting yesterday and what to chart, what levels to have, the high, the low, the close, etc. And that's why I always have that white line. The white line is the closing print. Alas, Tesla is dancing with the 10 period on the 5, and the 10 period, I will not be convinced otherwise, is an active area of resistance, is prevented it from going up above that level, going on half an hour now. No, 25 minutes. I exaggerated. I exaggerate for effect. Yeah. Anyway, it keeps rejecting off the 10 period, and that's my observation of things. Let's have a look here. So we're doing well on TSLA. Meta is still trouble. Let's look at Amazon. We're break even on Amazon, but none of my profit takers are getting filled. It's not making its way back into 180. If I had my guess here, the futures retrace above 18.7, and I end up losing on all my positions except Tesla. That's just my guess.
Yeah, I want to shout out your Tesla trade. I tried to take a short on Tesla because I was like, you know what? I think that the longs are still in favor, but I was like, what if we go back to 176.30? Yeah, no, we didn't. Did lose on that, but I'm happy I took it, and I'm happy I tried with it. Tesla, yeah, honestly, like, still down in it, but really happy that I had the initiative to take it if I liked the look. PDD, I have no complaints. I took a pretty small position in this, which might end up biting me a little bit because it, you know, not too much, but I didn't want to take too big of a position either because I was like, Adara didn't do that well in the last trade with PDD. I like this setup way better though. I think this is a better look. Thank you so much to Shelly for the super chat. Not seeing a message here, so let us know if there's anything you want us to look at here, but seeing a little like bird. And then THB60, I need to look up what currency that is.
Oh, THB?
Yeah, let's look this up, yeah. But thank you very much for the super chat. Oh, it's Thai. It's Thai bot. Ooh. So thank you so much for that, that super chat. Very much appreciated there, Shelly. Let's also look at GME here. GME is red to green. Let's go, baby, says Aldrin. Let's see if the games, I mean, the games never stop at GameStop, right? So let's take a look on this. Whoa!
Push chair back.
Wow. It wasn't really a push chair back moment. I did it for, you know, for Sharif's sake. But I do like that 21 can do something for GME. Once,
21.
twice, thrice. We push to the upside. Do your thing, GME. Do your thing, GME. So great look on that one. It can wrap a rich flex for you. And it can, especially if you're long here on that GME. That's a great look. So shout out to that. In that PDD, I'm also trying to get involved in my Lucy here. I'm using those Lucy shorts. Now you might be like, Adara, I don't know. Really? And I said, yeah, I mean, yeah. I think I'm probably gonna miss this opportunity, but look at, this is so clean. Rejection, support, rejection. Am I going to get this print? Maybe not. I wanted 96.5s. I think maybe 96s would have been the play, but I'm not gonna chase Lucy. We don't go chasing waterfalls, especially if those waterfalls are small caps that will not quit. So let's take a look at LUCY. I like this look, and yeah, just looking for some opportunities. PDD basically back to my point of entry, so how are you doing?
What's up, Shelly Hale? Welcome to Trader TV Live. I've never seen Shelly spelt that way. I hope I'm saying your name right, by the way. Thank you for joining the #1 day trading show in the world. So hang out with us every day if you're into that kind of thing. So we're trading these large caps today, and specifically the one that I'm getting rinsed on right now is META, Fabian, and that's because I literally have my stop at top wick. How good does that feel, guys, to be stopped out top wick? I think I actually put it in for a quarter break, and I don't know why it stopped out at 469, because now it's coming down, and now I'm even more frustrated. So I don't care if this is sim or not. I take this stuff very seriously, and it's very frustrating to see poor execution. All right, but what's good execution right now is the Zon, because it's coming right back down. Hopefully we get filled over here. We have a couple of beak wetters set up, and beak wetters, you know, just colloquial for profit taking. We joke around about that on the show. So we'll see these baby blue, let's call them aqua. I don't know what this is, sky blue. Lines on my chart are profit takers that I put out there to trigger if the price was to touch. So hopefully we'll get filled there on Amazon, but Tesla's all the rave, baby. Into 177 we go into it. Very nice move here on the Cybertruck. So happy about that. We're gonna wet our beak some more there on some profits on TSLA. Now, if we hold above 177, I'm gonna be looking for 178. So how much more? I have still a little bit more here on TSLA. I'm gonna be looking for 178. That's not just because, oh, hey, it's a whole dollar. No, it's because we have these two troughs right there. So I know that this 177.50 to 178 area was a level of support. Now I'm gonna look for it to act as resistance. So what I'll do after further, reflection, I'm gonna wet my beak at the $0.50 level to de-risk, because we have a bit of a range here of 50 cents. for the support. Previous area of support, now resistance. 178 to 177.50. De-risk a little bit at the half dollar. Hold a piece, looking for that nice pump into 178 on TSLA. We'll keep eyes on that. Let's now flip back to Meta. Wow, yeah, it would have been $1 in the Meta, money on Meta, so I'm not looking at that stock anymore. It's very frustrating. We did wet our beak nicely there on the Zon. All right, so come back, Zon, man. Let's go, baby. We're waiting at 5s. I'm waiting at 180.05, but it's doing the wick shimmy off the 10. That scares me. Because I don't want it to do the wick shimmy, because usually the wick shimmy means a long. So we'll see if we're able to print a little bit lower. 180 right now is being defended here on AMZN. It's still down 1% on the day, so I don't feel my trade is a counter trend trade. But if my levels are triggered, they're triggered. And I'm talking about my stops. If they get triggered, then that's the end of that. Let's see what Tesla is doing here super quick. Are we above 177? No, we're still hanging out. So I'm going to put a beak wetter at the third of a dollar. We're going to put that at the quarter of a dollar, and then we're going to put at 177.33. And what's going on? Why isn't it going? Well, I'll do that after, I guess. For whatever reason, it didn't trigger there. So yeah, that's what I'm looking at. And what are you up to?
Comeback Zon Man is like just the quote of the century. Like I just think it's really, I enjoyed it. I got a kick out of it. I don't know why that really resonated with me. But also I really want to shout out your Tesla.
Thank you.
That's an awesome trade. Shout out to you. I had my weird shorts on that. And I think, yeah, that was a great trade. I know you were like, oh, I waited, but like the waiting worked. So great. Look, I want to shout that out to Sharif, who has definitely made the right choice being E-long in that name, because that is a must-see trade for sure. PDD is doing nothing, so no, I'm not going to make anyone listen to that, but there's no fun in me like staring at a chart. But I am trying to add to this because I'm noticing we are making lower highs, even if those lower highs are by a few pennies. So my plan is just add into this. If this thing breaks down, I'm going to cry tears of joy. I won't, but they'll be metaphorical. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Just going to let that ride a little bit. Don't love that she just got a little bit of pop there. But let's take a look at Gaurav here mentioning Micron. If Micron's a good short from these levels, let's see. Okay, so for me, this was a share pushback moment. This was a genuine share pushback moment on Micron. And I think it's because, to me, Gaurav, I have to be honest with you, I see a range on this. I think, if anything, I think we could have a bit of a bear flag. I see what you mean. There is a setup here for a bear flag. We had this big move down here from that 130. Now we're chopping and churning. We did have a slightly higher low here, though. I think, if anything, I would say don't short it from the bottom of the range. I would say that if you are looking to short it, and again, not advice, just my take on the chart, I think it could be a bit of a more interesting short from the top of the range. If you're doing like that 128.30 and then kind of taking it down there, maybe even taking out pieces as we get to the bottom of that defined range. But again, not advice, just how I would play this. Honestly, Micron, you've kind of earned yourself a spot on my side charts just for being this beautiful. So buy AMD, I don't have a read on you right now. And you're getting replaced with Micron. Lucy's still on my side chart and very much on my mind, but not on my blotter because I wasn't able to get those 96s I desperately wanted. If we come back, that will definitely be something I have my innovative eyewear on, because that is what the company is named. So we're gonna take that look. What else are people looking at here? Can we take a look at Dell, says WK? Yes, we can take a look at Dell. Sorry, that was really aggressive, but Dell's been such an interesting one lately with those earnings coming out tonight. Yeah. So we're gonna have to see what the deal is.
They better bring it.
Oh yeah, we'll have to see.
They better bring it, because it's pamped the last little while.
Well, not today. It's been dampened.
Yeah, I know, but have you seen the daily on this?
Oh yeah, I have. I mean, I was talking about this with Sean yesterday. RIP my Dell chart. But yeah,
so annoying.
My B Pro 8 was like, we don't want to see this Dell chart. You guys keep talking about Dell. What's Dell gonna do? Like, come on. I have things I need to do, Adara, that are not loading this chart. I'm like, okay, sorry about that. Didn't mean to upset it. But yeah, right now on the intraday, I kind of like Dell as a short. We are rejecting VWAP. I want to wait for an actual VWAP touch though before getting short all willy-nilly, because since we made that bottom at 1110, we have, which price level wise could be 165, we have continued to crawl to the upside. That being said, if we get that VWAP rejection, I absolutely will take Dell to the short side. Dell on the daily, as Sharif said, like, what a look. However, today's daily candle about to take out all the gains we made yesterday.
Dang.
So this actually does not look super great going into earnings. I gotta be really honest with you. But everything beyond these two candles is just gorgeous. Upside, upside, upside. Not sure if it's the death knell for Dell quite yet. But yeah.
I wonder if that's some profit taking, because like I just want to load up.
That would make sense.
You know, because if you say, all right, 6 months, What's the up percentage on Dell? What would you say?
I know it's in the hundreds.
Yeah?
Is it 97 to 103?
We're going to find out right now.
I'm gonna
We're going to
make
do
my
it
bet.
right now. So 6 months. So we're May.
Yeah.
So we're June. So let's say 31st of December. Fair?
Okay, I'll say 102%.
Okay, let's go.
That's my bet.
31st of December.
December.
Here we go. So the first trading day, Adair, was the 3rd?
Yeah.
All right, so from there to the highs yesterday, 142%. Wow, that's a lot.
Way more than I thought. I said 102, and I thought that was a bit generous.
Yeah,
Wow,
so I mean, I'm not surprised that there's some
That's a
profit.
great look.
And Jensen, we all know how Jensen feels about the Dell CEO.
And Michael Dell. His name is Michael Dell.
Is it? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah, he's still within the family. I like
Oh,
it.
yeah.
I like it.
I think he might be the dude who founded it. Yeah.
What?
I think he might be the dude who founded it, actually. Like, I think he might
Probably
be
his
the founder,
pops.
Michael Dell.
Is
Really?
it?
I
Yeah.
don't know.
Dang, how old is this guy? Isn't Dell old?
Maybe I'm wrong.
Find out.
He founded Dell.
Wow.
He's younger than my father.
This guy, eh?
Yeah, he's not very old.
All right, Michael. All right, Michael, we see you there. He's a billionaire businessman and investor, the founder. Okay, Mr.
Yeah.
Dell. So yeah, this guy is in Jensen's good books, baby. All right, let's get to this stock over here. I want to point this one out. Donald John Trump. So we know that the jury for this trial, for Donald Trump's trial, is in deliberation. So I would say to you that there's a good chance that this thing moves one way or another once we get that jury verdict. It's all going to be really about keeping your eye on this name or keeping your eye on the result. I would say look at the ticker. The ticker has a way of reacting quicker than the actual news. So DJT, keep your eye on DJT. I believe it can be an absolutely parabolic name to the high side or the downside. Maybe you even want to secure some shorts. I have no idea how this is going to go, but I just know that it's going to do something at not these levels, but with respect to that whole trial thing. All right, man. Amazon, we're printing on Amazon. It's a really good trade so far here on AMZ, and we just got printed at 180. We're printing on Tesla to the high side. We just got 177 and a third. Now it's time to wet our beak at 177.49. So we'll put that there to take profit at the half dollar. TSLA, look for a 178 retracement. I'm looking to de-risk most of it between 177.5 to 178 because that is where I feel that we had a key area of support earlier. I also want to mention AMD because Big Kyle took a short on AMD and he was talking about that 166 level, I believe. Let's have a look at AMD. What is it up to at these levels? Yeah, so this is what I was saying to Big Kyle earlier, is that we had a general area of resistance at 176. And you can see that after the big huadunk that came in at 9:30 on the open there. When we retraced, the best we could do was that 166 and 2/3, but those were all topping tail candles. Look at where the closing prints were hanging out. 166 and a quarter to a third. In and around that area. So if we continue retracing, I'm going to be looking for, that first 5-minute candle to make a new low so that I can kind of, on a closing basis, get the idea that, all right, the ascent has stopped. Now it's maybe time for that descent or descend, whatever. And that's what I'll be looking for there. So shout out to Big Kyle. AMD looking to go short at these levels here, 166-ish. Let's have a look at TSLA. So we still haven't got triggered on that 177.5. So we'll have to pack our patience for that. Now we have to wet our beak more here on AMZN. And so we'll look to cover there. How much do we have left on Amazon? Still some decent shareage here. So we'll look for a bigger move down on this one today.
Yeah, I mean, I am so happy to say that the real dead one, Apple, is actually not dead. It's had a great look. And I agree with what you said about how Apple's kind of switched from like a more of an investing stock to a trading stock. Maybe because I was so offended by you calling it the dead.
Maybe.
Maybe it was like, I need to be more active now. But no, all jokes aside, great look here for Apple. Look at this rejection forming, switching to a base here at 191.40 with lower lows.
Moving.
I like this. I think Apple could be a short for me, but GameStop's moving. But you know what else will be moving in terms of conversation? We have to let these games stop. Oh my God, GameStop here getting close to 22s. But you know what else is going to happen here is Neil and his lesson of the day.
Welcome. We got a lesson of the day for you, and because this is a flexible lesson of the day on execution strategies, then I'm going to be able to talk about GameStop. It happens to be moving, so I might as well talk about it here. Look, at the end of the day, there's lots of reasons why we like trades. Stock has a good catalyst, maybe we like a long. Company going bankrupt, maybe we like a short. A high short float and breaking out a resistance level, we like it for a squeeze play. A flat top break. We can just name a million different reasons. A trending stock up on the daily chart that's holding key support on a pullback. Like, I can name a million different reasons why you might like a trade. An SSR bounce play off an even dollar. Those are all ideas. What you also need is an execution plan. Like, how are you going to get into and out of position? And do you have to adjust that if the stock is trading differently from the way that you expected? So I kind of promised I'd loosely cover a GameStop because it happens to be moving. In the early morning, I do like breakouts a little bit more than I do later. That's because you get bigger explosion, tend to get that quick action, it works, and then it just goes. You got almost a dollar move instantly to a stock like this to the downside. In the afternoon or maybe at lunchtime or as things settle down a bit, I tend to think I'd prefer a more, not a stable strategy, but maybe a more tighter strategy where I know where I'm getting out a little bit more clean. Breakouts, usually you don't have very defined levels. Sometimes you do, like here, if you took a break high, you would have lost, but at least maybe you had a stop down at your 2090. So I prefer dip buys as things calm down. So what does that look like in practice? Well, GameStop, there's your high, 21.25, let's just say. Lower high, 21.20. And I mentioned during the morning show, hey, if it breaks that out early, I'm taking a long 21.25. The difference between looking for the dip buy, I'm not looking for the dip without it breaking the top. I'm looking for the dip as it breaks the top. So, okay, well, show me there's buyers above 21.25. I could either just go long and have 26 or 27. Maybe I stop at 21. That's an execution plan. Another execution plan is wherever it happens to turn, look for a dip that holds the previous high and then take the long. Does it again, shows me confirmation. Okay, we'll add to it as well. So we jump in the first time and get some 39s in front of 30. It bounces off 30 a second time on a 3-minute chart here. It gets above 40. I add at 42. I end up with a 40.5 price and 10 cents worth of risk. Get some out here, get some out going into this top. Now we're holding for a break of 22. So that's an execution plan. You could have also just taken the breakout and had it right in here. I decided for another option, and that's what we went with. We talk about execution. Everybody's going to be different. Tesla this morning. I liked Tesla, and we talked about 2 levels without even remotely considering that a third one could come into play. I'm not going to lie. I thought the catalyst was good. If you were thinking 175.5, the afternoon resistance level or support level at lunchtime, and then the close bottom was going to come into play, I can tell you right now I had no thoughts of that being a thing. I thought 178 was a level, and then 180 going back a couple of days ago were going to be the levels. 180 is a breakout trade. 178 is a dip buy. Now, everybody is going to be different. The first time this bounces off the 178 level, it's a good scalp trade. The second time through, this is where it gets nuanced. It doesn't hold 178. At that point, I'm still thinking it can be a valid long. And we made a misstep, which I'll get into when it comes to your execution plan. I don't mind trying to test it back in pre-market support. If you still like it, you have $3 down before you get another level in there. However, when you're buying the dip, there's getting out in front of a level, there's waiting for it to make a turn or a bottom wick on volume, and then taking some kind of a buy higher. Consolidations are ideal, or maybe you just get a breakout. Now, this particular case, VWAP ended up lining up right with the 178. I did not get the reentry. That's kind of like a poor execution plan there. But the only thing you can do is go right back to the next. And that's all we did, which is 180. Like, you can wait around and be like, that kind of sucked. We didn't get back into it there. But there's a trade at 180, so let's just respect it. This was a different plan of action. It was a breakout trade that I was only going to add to with confirmation. So the idea, and again, because of time of day, if this had happened at the open, I'd probably just get it all in at 180. But it happens a little bit closer to 10 o'clock. That's when I'm usually thinking you can get some false breakouts. It's into that more tepid range. So when it breaks the first time, I get half. I have my stop at the $0.50. It's not right at the pre-market highs, but it's just barely under that. It then bounces. Now, if I have a stop set at 179.5 in this situation, and it bounces exactly where I'm looking for the dip support to be, when it makes a new high, I am adding and doubling into the position. That's exactly the confirmation I wanted. I wasn't sitting in there looking for the dip buy. I wanted buyers over 180 in the case of Tesla. This is not like GameStop. GameStop was a squeeze play. I'm willing to buy into the rally on a dip because it's already going. 180 was big resistance on Tesla. I wanted above 180, and the fact that it held at 50 had me adding back in. I scalped to the first dollar. We got our 82s. On the way back, there's not much to say. I think we handled it pretty cleanly at the 178 level, being able to get out of dodge. First time it held nicely, the second time it didn't, and then we had a long off the bottom as well, which I've covered at 177. So when it comes to your execution plan, there's nothing wrong with, on this particular stock, GameStop, I like, because it's already trending, it's a squeeze play, it's well established, I'm going to buy into that dip on the breakout instead of just taking the break. Or on Tesla, saying to myself, the market's a little bit tepid, I'm going to add in, I'm going to take half in as the plan. If it holds and I see buyers above 180, and you heard me on the live show say, let's see some buyers above 180, let's see some buyers above 180. Someone's bidding fives, now we got buyers, I'm in. And that's when I added to the position. You could have gotten it all in at once and it would have been the same result. You could have got nothing in the first time and got all in the second time, it would have been the same result. It doesn't matter ultimately how you choose to trade it, but your execution plan is everything. And I'll leave you with probably the biggest regret of the day, because when you have an execution plan, the best thing about it, and I'm going to show you a fail here, but the best thing about it is you then just go back to hitting the keys and throwing the orders out there as you see fit. Now, CRM was probably, KSS worked out very well. Kohl's worked out as an SSR play. It'll be my best stock today. But there's no question that CRM should have been. It doesn't look like it should have been, but trust me when I tell you this should have been the best one, because I was looking for a 220 hold and a 220 bounce on CRM. This is right at the open at 936. It bouncing off of $220.14. For this execution plan, I'm always looking for a false break of an even dollar or a false break of a low in front of the even dollar. So in this case, there's your open wick just underneath 221. It breaks the low and holds 220. My plan of action here is always exactly the same. If it retakes this bottom, I punch long, throw stop here, hold to VWAP. That's it. You get the order in. You can, in this particular case, I actually could have had my stop correctly priced first. I changed the mechanics up. I got into position and then went to put my stop in, and I keystroked the stop. Punched out essentially flat because I put the stop at a price that had already triggered instead of down here, and I think I made 1 cent on the stock. It goes instantly to the upside into VWAP for the perfect plan. I did go back in for a dip that made one little bounce, and then we lost on it. But the key is the execution plan here. It's not sit out in front of 2020 or 220. You can do that. There's nothing wrong with it, but I'd rather it break that low, show me that it's bouncing, then get back in when it retakes the high, stop goes in here, targets go into that level, and then all you're doing is grip it and rip it. If you know what your plan of action is, and you've got a detailed execution plan, if this happens, I'm gonna do that, then all you're doing is trying to hit the keys correctly. And sometimes it works out golden. It doesn't work out golden on CRM, and other times it's pretty much as simple as you would expect. In this particular case, KSS was a similar story. It wicked underneath 19. It had some time before it reestablished 20 as a higher low, but once it did hold 20, the difference with this and CRM was KSS actually broke the $20 level, whereas CRM that first time didn't break that 220. So when it broke underneath 20, I was looking for it to reestablish. It still couldn't reestablish. There's this higher low. We got the higher low and then the rehold at 20. That's enough for an entry. Higher low, retakes 20. I don't get it on the way up. I was lucky enough to get it right in here at 6s. It played into VWAP. I'm not going to pretend that I had this one at 1975 randomly, but have an execution plan, not just I'm buying X stock at X level. If that's the nature of it, fair enough. If it's going to be as simple as, I'm just going to buy in front of an even dollar, maybe you like 100 on Disney, there's nothing wrong with that. You could go on buying $100.25, my stop is at $99.90. That's an execution plan. But I am buying in front of 100 is not a plan of action. Because what are you buying? Are you buying at 50? You're buying at 20? Where's your stop going to go? How are you executing in? Is it bouncing off of that level first and putting in a higher low? Is it just I'm catching the falling knife? Which is fine. As long as you're determining which one it is that you're doing, then you can actually look at what works better for you. So the dip plays that would have worked on CRM, on KSS, it's because there's a plan of action. Getting out of Tesla at the absolute bottom in here, but still executing correctly everywhere where we wanted to on the way back in, that's how this can essentially trend down. I can bungle the open and lose here, but still be up on the stock. Because I had an execution plan which limited the risk, but also made sure that when I got a good trade, I was maximizing the profit. That's what your plan of action should be about when it comes to trading. It's not just what direction do I like, what stock do I like. Have a good, solid execution plan. As the boys on the desk, on the trading floor say, have a professional execution plan, and then you're going to have some success. So a bit long-winded, but that is your lesson of the day. Execution plan is everything in trading. It's not just about direction.
Thank you very much, Neil Roberts, baby. The dude drops hot lines for a living. Thank you very much, Neil. Eloquent, awesome, and informative as always. Neil Roberts, every day around 12 o'clock, drops his lesson of the day. Make sure you're around to check that out. So thank you for that. Adara, I just want to cover my trade super quick here.
Do.
It is an absolute print factory over here in sim mode for Tesla as we take this monster bigly. We took it off 176.43. We just printed 177.50s. I'm looking to take out the entire thing in front of 178. We'll keep an eye on that. Then Foot Locker. Oh, baby. This is the kind of thing that makes me want to trade every day. I love this kind of trade over here. Very flat top in the pre. When it reported earnings at 26 and a quarter, looked like an absolute level of resistance. Lo and behold, we make it all the way back down into 26 and a half, and I had an alert waiting, baby. So as soon as I came back from my water bottle refill / bathroom break, I don't know why I told you that. I know, right? Completely unnecessary, but that's just the way we do around here. Took long Foot Locker, printing nicely. Sim money only, guys. Today I'm in sim mode. Wet my beak already 5 times there as we were like 60 pennies in the money. I have a couple of more beak wetters there at 10s and then at 20s on Foot Locker. The other one that's continuing to print, AMZN. We wet our beak multiple times there through the break of 90, but I have a sneaking suspicion Amazon may be a little bit stronger into the afternoon. I don't know. It's not coming back into those lows at 179 and 2/3. Maybe I took this short way too close to the low because I'm not really printing notionally off it. I had to plan. Well, this DCA was planned, to be fair. It was the volume weighted average price, right, at the time. So anyway, we've de-risked about more than half the position on AMZN. I'll be looking maybe for some prints in the 80s. If we can get those, fabulous. If we can't, then we'll have to break even on the remaining amount. AMZN down 1.11% on the day, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, shout out to you on your Tesla. I'm sure you will all be shocked or not shocked to know that I tried to short Tesla again. Well, Neil was dropping his hot lines. I also want to really shout out that lesson because I think having a plan is so important. I had a plan on the Tesla, and that's why, what am I doing? On Tesla, and that's why I think it went okay-ish. I still lost on the trade, but I had a plan and executed that accordingly, so I think that counts as a W. Basically, what I did with Tesla was, and you might be like, Adara, why do you keep shorting this beautiful Cybertruck? And I was like, you know, I did like the look of the short because we came into this area, we went a couple times and we couldn't break above that 177.31. So I got involved mid-teens. I said, hey, if we break above 31s decisively, I'll get out. We did, I did. And for a second, it looked like it was gonna be that nice opportunity. If we still keep seeing this direction, I don't know, I might go short, but I do want to give Sharif a huge round of applause for Tesla because that was a great look. And also for Foot Locker because he's running away with profits in those Foot Locker shoes.
Can I say something to build onto your position?
Please do.
I'm going to be looking to go short at 178. Okay. So if I wet my beak and we fill that gap, I don't want to call it a gap. If we retrace into that key area of support, resistance, previously support. I'm talking about this area over here and this area over here. If we come into that area, which also happens to be, surprise, surprise, resistance level 1 on pivots and the 50 period, I will be getting out. Right now, we're putting a topping tail candle, quite frankly. So I've taken out the majority of the Tesla position. I'm happy about that, but I am very interested in getting short on this name if it does come into 178-ish area and comes all the way back or shows weakness. Maybe we get a wick shimmy, we get a topping tail candle, whatever it is at that level that says to me, not long. I will be very interested in getting short on said name. The trade that's keeping me up at night, and I know I haven't been to sleep yet, but I know will keep me up at night, is this Meta short. I absolutely had the right idea, but Meta being the $400 name that it is, it's not gonna stop out very nicely for you at VWAP like you want it. But look where the closing print is. It literally is at the volume weighted average price. This is what they call a specialist breakout. It is done purposefully to try to get you out of the position. It means nothing to a long-term investor, but everything to a day trader who's obviously looking at levels. And I think that this was, done purposefully. Just my guess. But anyway, I would have printed on Meta. Alas, I'm not, and I'm down on it. So a little bit disappointed about that. Let's figure out some of these other names here. I saw, what's his name? Gorev. Yeah, he wants me to have a look at Nike. So we're going to do that because he asked nicely. So let's have a look at NKE. Now, we got some interesting comments today, guys, from Foot Locker about Nike. It looks like the relationship is back in the good books here. You know that Nike kind of...
Oh, sorry, I'm just to add.
Yeah,
just telling
yeah, sorry. I'll do it right now.
No, it's okay. I was just sorry. I was trying to gesture calmly and can't do that. So it's all good. There's no problem there.
All right. Yeah, Nike back in the good books for Foot Locker. I guess Foot Locker's back in Nike's good books because we saw what Nike wanted to do. They want to get rid of the middleman. Dick's Sporting Goods, Foot Locker, you're eating our margins. We don't like you. We want that direct-to-consumer setup where we can eat everything up. It's all ours, baby. I know, I just did that.
I like that.
I know,
I enjoyed it.
Anyway, the point is they were looking at moving out of that middleman, the intermediary, the retailer, and doing direct-to-consumer either through their own retail stores or through online sales. And it looks as if maybe that strategy is changing a little bit for the moment because they're going to carry more Nike products. Nike products are selling a bit more. It looks like maybe the consumer wasn't as squeezed as we had been anticipating. So anyway, long-winded way of saying maybe Nike could be a longer. Anyway, up 2.2%, Fabian, even though there's no news specifically on Nike other than the fact that maybe good report for Foot Locker. So let's have a look at NKE. Let me put in the ticker real quick here. So on an intraday basis, Gorev, it looks fantastic at the 20, okay? And I'm sure you can appreciate why I say that is because look at that. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, zillion bounce off the 20. It consolidated very nicely there, and all the closing prints did hold up that 20, and then look what you did. You start curling up, and we broke through that 93.5, which HOD, printing a new HOD at 93 3/4. So I'd be looking possibly off the 20. Otherwise, look to defend the low end of this range here. 93.10, for whatever reason, seems to be holding up. NKE, decent look. Let's look at the daily, see where Nike's coming off. So we're not even close to the pandemic highs there. And I know everybody was using the stimmies to buy Nikes, getting the tracksuits, getting the Jordans. There's no more stimmies. So yeah, they're going to have to do this organically without artificial injection of money into the economy. And the high that we put in the pandemic was that 180. After the pandemic, the highs seem to all be around that 130-ish area. We had a lot of tops in and around there, including this past December. But as you can see, it's been multiple rejections off the 50 on the daily. Look for a break of that, and then maybe we can get something there. I'll just send it to you while I set up.
Yes. So I am down on Apple. Like I said, I'm not down on PDD. I'm down on everything but PDD. PDD, clearly, I left this trade early, but what happened was I was like, I want to use the bathroom. I want to make sure I profit in PDD because I was not sure what was going on here. I took out part at 153 because we stalled. I was like, I wanted to get up. I said, let's get a 152.75s. It worked. I was happy, and then we dropped another 55 pennies. So, but what's not sad face, is our sponsor. Thank you very much to our lovely sponsor here. At
Absolutely correct, Adara. Created by the world-renowned trading software pioneer Louis B. Mendelson, Vantage Point forecasts stocks, futures, forex, and ETFs with a remarkable proven accuracy of up to 87.4%. Using artificial intelligence, Vantage Point's patented neural network processes predict changes in market trend direction 1 to 3 days in advance. So go ahead, scan that QR code to learn more, and shout out to our sponsor, Vantage Point, baby. So shout out to them, and yeah, give that a try if you are interested in the such. So that's my look there on Tesla. So I haven't put any other beak wetters here, guys, on Tesla. So I'm going to go ahead. We already wet our beak at the $0.50. Let's sit at 69. So what's life without whimsy? We'll see if we can get filled in and around there. The ultimate idea will be to get that 178. Look at Amazon. Come down, Amazon. I knew it, baby. All right, so there we go. Sim money, baby. This is all sim money today, but we're having a good time. And Amazon is on the way down, and it's breaking into that 179 3/4. We're short 180 1/4, so nice 50 pennies in the money. We'll look to cover everything at the low of day at the $0.50. Let's check what Foot Locker is doing. Right back above 27, but it didn't fill me at 10s. So this one is not super spready right now. It's 3 pennies, but for whatever reason, it didn't make its way up through 27 on a closing basis. I'll be looking to profit at 10s and 20s. Let's see what we get there.
Yeah, I mean, I want to shout out Patty AAP saying, congratulating me in my PDD trade. Yeah, I mean, Patty, the reason I had eyes on that is because you were like, oh, you're not looking at PDD today? And I was like, why am I not looking at PDD today? So I want to shout you out. I did have one losing PDD trade earlier as well, and I was to the point where I was kind of like, do I even want to take the second short? But I did like the look. Happy I took it. Please just punch, and thank you very much, Patty. Hope you are having a fabulous trading day.
Patty?
Yeah, Patty.
Oh.
P-A-T-T-Y.
Oh.
A-A-P. I don't know. I know we have BPI over there in the back. But yeah, I mean, also Google's behaving. But I'm going to be getting out at the 9 EMA. And you might be like, Adara, that is like, what, a 10-penny trade? 12 pennies. I'll take my 12 pennies. But yeah, no, in all seriousness, it is a small trade. I do still like the shorts, but the thing was, like, I kept playing these shorts in the wrong direction. Now I think we're flipping here, and we're kind of seeing maybe a bounce off the 9 EMA. So I wanted to get out of that preemptively. And as I say that, we break lower, but it's all good. We took that profit. I need to be scalpier. I need to just be taking trades I like. Speaking of trades I like, I have no excuse to not be having eyes on Lucy 24/7. My eyewear needs to get a little bit more innovative, so I have better timing here on Innovative Eyewear, aka LUCY. I have my shorts. Thanks again to Neil for securing those for me. I have the shorts. I am ready to use them accordingly. And I am not at all getting short this level because 83 was a huge level of support. Yesterday, I'm like, I don't want to mess with that. Bet. But if we come back here to like this level and we reject, especially if we reject at 94s or 96s, oh, it's going to be on. Oh, I've been staring at this
I'm kind of getting scared. I'm not going to lie.
A little intense. I was staring at the name yesterday, and then I literally don't even know why. I could have just asked for locates, and I was like, oh, Adara, what if you don't use them? So I was being a little weird, but how can I use them now?
You're not actually wrong. Remember, you know about Arun, obviously.
Yeah.
He had a policy that he didn't like to have paid for shorts because he felt obliged to use them.
Right, that's the thing.
So you're not the first person to feel that way. Yeah.
I mean, I'm like, let's be clear. I don't want to actively short Lucy if there's nothing like worth shorting, but I think there have been clearly opportunities. Look at all of these rip sells that I just keep missing. But you know what you don't want to miss out is on the opportunity to have Sharif and the big kahunas look at your ticker in the afternoon.
Absolutely right, guys. And we've opened it up so you can vote anytime now. Thank you to Bears versus Bulls, always doing the absolute most, the world's greatest moderator there. Not you, Cali Canis. It is the following tag. You're going to go into the chat. You're going to hit / join space $, and the ticker that you want chosen. You can vote right now. Keep voting. You only get 1 vote per day. So, yeah, choose it wisely. Whether you want the Zon, whether you want Tesla, Foot Locker, CRM, there is just so many to choose from. Best Buy, what's it called? UiPath. Goodness gracious, there was so many major movers this morning, whether on earnings or headlines. Have your say right now in the chat. Go right now exclamation point, join, space, $, and the ticker that you want. And then the big kahunas, Neil and Sean, are going to cover that for you. They're going to give you their levels. They're going to give you their look, whether they traded it or not. So this is the day, this is the part of the day when you have your say. Oh, I like that. This is the part of the day when you have your say. So go right now, get into the chat, go in and type the ticker that you want the big kahunas to cover. Speak now or forever hold your peace. I saw there Big Kyle. He's like, go down, Zon. And yes, Zon is right back. The Tesla, it's coming off the 20 Katina Man, but, you know, it's not bad. The Katina Man wanted to know what Tesla was doing. But anyway, well, he's still long, 175.78, if I remember correctly. And AMZN coming into that resistance level 1 on pivots, sorry, support level 1, pardon me, on pivots at 179 and a 2/3. I just wet my beak there at the $0.75, so I'm not inclined to take any more out here. So I'm just going to pack my patience. The Tesla trade, though, is now the one that is going down, and so we're still in the money because we're long 46s. Tesla's printing 87s, but, you know, I don't have too much, and I don't want to hang out for that much longer either, because if Tesla is going to do a rounded top and tank, I don't want any of that smoke, right? We only want smoke of the things that we're going to print on.
Of course.
Right? So that's the look there. We got printed on Foot Locker at 27.10. Please, this punch. Thank you, Adara. Looking for that move into 27 and a fifth. Let's see if that one is forthcoming right now below 27 again.
Yeah, the game is afoot on Foot Locker. That's a great look for you. Also, I'm very sad its ticker isn't foot. That'd be so much more fun.
Oh, that would be actually way better than FL. FL is kind of anti-clockwise.
Like, reminds me of Florida. Just makes me think of the state of Florida.
Exactly.
Which, like, I guess shout out to Florida, but, like, foot would have been way more fun of a ticker.
So when you type in ONON for on shoes, do you feel like you're typing in Ontario?
I never thought. No, I never thought of that.
This is the stuff that keeps us up at night, guys,
is.
right?
Oh my God, have you told them all your Remax obsession? Remember that day that you like kept telling everyone
talked about this,
aside? Okay, so
we
look
don't
up
know.
just look up the Remax logo and notice if you find an odd little like slash anywhere that you're confused by. Because I'm telling you, this is still pretty early when I was here. Sharif, like this a couple months after I started, if that, and Sharif was like, guys, have you looked at the Remax logo? And we were all just like looking at the Remax logo. So this is the type of stuff Sharif and I love like talking about, being like, what is going on with the world? Yeah, what's the slash? That's what I kept saying.
Yes.
Why is there a slash?
Neil has it up. Why is there a slash? What is it? Regarding the max sale of your house? I don't understand.
We just want to know.
I want answers. Maybe Gemini knows. I'll ask Gemini. Whatever. Guys, have your say. Sorry, I'm going to remind everybody again.
Please
Sorry to interrupt you, Adara. Guys, get in the chat right now and type in that prompt. But substitute Amazon for whatever you want the big kahunas to cover. It's Neil and Sean, baby. They're going to cover this between 2 and 220. So if you want your stock covered, if you want to have a thorough technical analysis, look, price action, make sure to go and vote now.
However, if you do want to look at Amazon, don't feel pressured to not choose Amazon either. You can choose Amazon or whatever ticker you like, as long as it's a ticker you like. I don't know what I'm saying. Also, Lucy's popping back up, feeling no pressure to short this. If she gets to 96s, watch out, Lucy. Watch out. That's all I'm saying to that. Sorry for getting so aggressive there. But I have lots of ideas, and I've just not executed them properly. So if we get that opportunity to execute, even if we reject 90s here, which it looks like we might, this could also be... 89 area could be a short, but it's all good. Just happy I have my shorts. PDD, are you going for round 2 to the downside, PDD? Looks like you might be. I want to wait and see here. I've drawn clearly some lines of areas I like. We never got quite to that 70s I wanted, so don't feel like I missed too much here. But yeah, I have to say, I'm very disappointed after waxing poetic about taking a Tesla short that I missed the Tesla short, and I had the right idea here. The timing was just wrong. Also, Apple Y. Look at this. Sean's singing, that's why I was laughing. Got short 190, 145. So I was like, if we break above 55s, I'll get out. We kept rejecting 50s. I was like, great. So we get to 58s, I get out. And then we drop, but I was like, you know what? Sometimes things happen that way. You have to execute how you want to execute. Yeah, it's interesting. Same with Google. I got out of Google earlier, and then Google dropped another 20 pennies. It's just, I feel like my reads on things have not been the best today, so I'm trying to be cognizant of that. I am down in the day, but I'm up on PDD, and as always, I am bullish positivity, because I think that's the only, you know, if you're going to get knocked down by every questionable trade you make, you know, you're not going to be able to trade. Because the thing is, it's not about the losers, it's about how you lose. And I think one thing that Sean always says that I love is having conviction. These Tesla trades, Tesla's my biggest loser of the day, by the way, P&L wise. I had so much conviction in all of these that I can't even be that upset about it. I really liked all of them. I had levels. I had reasons for liking all of them. So what? They didn't work out. You know, so I think that's the type of attitude I'm trying to have. And I do want to shout out Sean for that with conviction, but also everyone, you know, Neil, Sharif, Brendan, everybody here, because I just feel like this is such a great community and such a great community to be a part of. And also Tesla, if you want to keep rejecting 177, someone's taking you short.
All right.
How are you doing?
Let's start the lesson du jour. What about that, Adair? How about that?
Let's do that.
All right. We're talking all week, baby. We've been talking about the future, and today no different. Today we're going to get a bit more nuanced, talk about the different vehicles that you can take for futures trading. I was going to call this the futures vehicles, but then I'm like, oh, it's kind of, anyway. Intraday futures trading offers leveraged exposure to the underlying markets, but it requires a strong understanding of each instrument's features and quirks. Here's a breakdown of the popular options that we typically trade. So the underlying instruments, these are the futures contracts. There are derivatives of these. I'll get to those in a second. But the main one, the NQ, which stands for E-mini, NASDAQ 100. This tracks the NASDAQ 100, a stock market index of 100 large non-financial U.S. companies. Now, I want to point out one thing. The NDX is not a reflection of the NASDAQ composite. To actually get the composite itself, not the index of the 100, so the NDX ticker is the index of the 100. If you want the full NASDAQ, it's COMP on my ticker. I don't know what it is on yours, but they are two separate entities, and they have different levels, okay? I just discovered that actually for the first time yesterday. I always assumed that the NDX was the full index. No, it is only the one, it's the index of the 100, not of the entire composite. So if you want COMP, I'll give you an example. I'm just gonna do this live right now. If I go in here and type in NDX, so I'll have the option over here to go to the index, NASDAQ 100 stock index. So I can look at the index by going like that, and that's a daily look. So you can see we almost touched 19,000. We got to 18.9. But when I type in comp, which is the component, COMP, you'll see that I get here, NASDAQ Composite Index, and you'll see that we just touched 17,000. Very similar charts, but different levels, okay? Just want to point that out so everybody knows that for the future, because I actually didn't know that until yesterday. So that's the NQ. The ES is the other one. The ES is the E-mini S&P 500. It tracks the S&P 500, a stock market index of the 500 leading U.S. companies across various sectors. The futures can also be traded vis-a-vis the ETFs, exchange-traded funds, okay? The ones that we're going to talk about specifically are the triple Qs, which is the Invesco QQQ Trust. It tracks the NASDAQ 100 index, very similar to the NQ, but as an ETF, which is essentially just a basket of securities, okay? The SPY, SPY is the ticker, is the Spider S&P 500 ETF Trust. It also tracks the S&P 500 index, again, similar to the ES, but also through an ETF. There's also leveraged ETFs. So these are basically, derivatives of the Qs, the triple Qs. You have the T triple Qs, which is the ProShares Ultra Pro QQQ. It provides you 3 times the daily leverage returns of the Q, so it amplifies your gains and amplifies your losses. Similarly, the S triple Qs, it's the ProShares Ultra Pro Short QQQ. It provides you negative 3 times daily leverage returns on the Q. So essentially profits when the Qs fall and loses when it rises. Here are some peculiarities and differences between the different vehicles. So the index versus the ETF. So the NQ and the ES, as we mentioned, are futures contracts expiring on specific dates. So that's kind of where they differ a lot from the Qs and the SPY, which are ETFs, and those offer you more of a continuous holding there. What's going on? All right. Leverage. The leveraged ETFs like the TQs and the SQs, they magnify daily returns plus or minus 3%, but are riskier and they're not really suitable for longer term holding due to the compounding effects, okay? We've all heard about, you know, the ETF decay. Market cap as well, an important consideration here. The NQ really focuses on large cap tech, whereas the ES is going to give you that broader exposure across all the sectors. So if you want a really concentrated view of the future, you go on the NQ, especially if you want big tech. If you want full market exposure, you look at the ES. Here are some intraday trading considerations to keep in mind as well. The liquidity here is an important consideration. The NQ and the ES, they're highly liquid. They're used by institutions to hedge against their positions. So there's constant in and out, in and out, in and out. You'd be surprised what kind of companies trade the futures. You really would be surprised, okay? It makes them easier to enter and exit because of the ample liquidity. However, the leverage in the triple Qs and the S triple Qs can actually increase the bid-ask spread. So it's harder to get into the leverage products than it is the futures contracts, even though the leverage products give you that 3 times amplification. Because of that amplification, it tends to increase the spread. That's what you need to know. Volatility, also another very important consideration in the futures. The NQ and the T triple Qs can be more volatile due to their higher tech-heavy composition. The ES and the SPY, they offer you that more, you know, broader market spectrum, so they tend to be a little less volatile. It's a good alternative if you're looking for less volatility.
Volatility, we love that.
I'm just going to pause for a second to look at my trades, make sure everything's on the up and up. Tesla is, yeah, it just broke back above 177 there, but it didn't fill me. So Foot Locker's coming back down here. So, oh wow, it got super close to getting filled at the fifth of a dollar there on Foot Locker, but alas, did not get filled. And last but not least, the Zon continues to print to the downside. So I'm going to pack my patience with that one. We'll see what we get there. All right. So how do we trade each instrument? So the core mechanics of buying and selling are similar for all of these instruments. However, there are these following factors. The NQ and the ES focus more on price movement here and make sure that you understand the margin requirements required in order to trade these. You're typically going to have to deposit a bit more money for that. And also keep your eye on contract expiration. We always roll over to the new contract the Monday before the Friday expiration. So for example, say the contract expires this Friday, we would have rolled to it at this office on Monday. Obviously Monday was a holiday, just giving you kind of the example there. We always look to see which one is doing more volume too. Is it the old contract or the new contract? As soon as the new contract starts doing more volume, we start trading the new contract. The Q and the SPYs, like we mentioned, similar to the NQ and the ES, but with no expiry concerns. Here, consider the expense ratios, which are annual fees associated with ETFs. We know that if you're going to trade ETFs, there is ETF decay as well as fees that come into play there. And the TQs and the SQs, due to leverage, focus on short-term holding to avoid the compounding effects. Strictly manage your risk with stop loss and make sure your stop losses are sound because we mentioned the spread on those bad boys a little bit wider. Now here's what I think everybody kind of wants to know. The NQ, the E-mini, the NASDAQ 100, basically this is representing $1,000 per point on the NASDAQ 100 index. There's a smaller version of that, which is the MNQ, the micro E-mini NASDAQ 100. This is a smaller version of the NQ. It represents $20 per point on the NASDAQ 100 index, okay? The ES, very similar as well, represents 500 per point on the S&P 500 index, and the MES, the micro E-mini S&P 500, similar to the MNQ, a smaller version of the ES representing $50 per point on the S&P 500. So how much are the tick values? Like, what are you going to make per point up or point down? I think that's really what everybody kind of wants to have an idea about. The NQ and the ES, they both have minimum tick values of 0.25. So you increase 0.25 like you would 1 penny on a stock. For the NQ, this translates to basically $2.50 per tick. So if it goes up a quarter point, 0.25, you're in the money $2.50 minus your fees, okay? That's basically it. For the ES, it's going to be about $12.50 per tick, okay? So if it goes up 0.25 on the ES, you're in the money right away, $12.50 minus fees. The MNQ and the MES, due to their smaller contract size, they have proportionally smaller tick values. The MNQ is going to have a tick value of 0.25, same thing, but that translates into 50 cents per quarter tick. So if you're in the money 0.25, you're 50 cents in the money. On the MES, it has a tick value as well of 0.25, but you're going to be in the money $1.25 if you're in the money 0.25 of a point. So that's just what I want to point out there, the basic setup of these futures contracts a day.
Yeah, thank you so much for going over that. Some people in the chat seemed pretty interested in that as well, so thank you. And it's a lot of stuff I wasn't like aware of too. It's lots of, always great stuff to learn. And it's good to know there are so many options. You can have the SQAs, the SQQs, the TQs, whatever product you need to trade with. I think it's really just awesome to know that they exist. So thank you very much, Sharif, for going over that.
Absolutely.
Also, thank you, Day Trader Cut, for putting in the chat here talking about Feds Williams. Amid uncertainty about when rate cuts start, it is unclear how much easing will be needed. So basically, hand waving, as we've had some of these Feds recently. So not a lot of clarity coming from Feds Williams. Thank you very much, though, for Day Trader Cut for putting that in the chat. I am still so excited about the new Fed we're getting on August 21st. Beth Hammack, she will be the new Cleveland Fed president after Miss Loretta Mester leaves because she's retiring. So I think that'll be fun, you know, seeing a new face around there.
Do you think she'll talk a little bit less than the other ones?
I mean, she probably not.
It would be nice.
It'd be nice. I just like, you know, it's like young blood. She's younger. She's old, young. I say she's 52. But she's younger.
Pretty young for them, though,
Yeah, she is, right? She's like a Goldman Sachs exec. I think she might bring a fresh perspective. I'm down to see what she has to offer. Although she will be replaced temporarily from June 30th to August 20th by the vice president of the Cleveland Fed, who is a man I don't know. So yeah, that'll be, I think it's always just nice to see a new fresh face and a new change. Also, I'm just playing this range on Apple. We have that I didn't play this well initially, so I said, no, and Adara, I used to call these avenge trades instead of revenge trading, but a couple people very rightfully pointed out, even though I thought they sounded different in my head, they mean the exact same thing. So I'm gonna call this instead restorative justice trades, where instead of, you know, going after like, you know, like a punitive sentence, you're like, no, we're going to come and find healing together. So that's what I'm doing with these stocks. Right. Apple, I should have probably gotten out of this lower in the range, but it is what it is. We're trying to get them lower here. I'm also in PDD. How are you doing?
Oh, good. Same positions. Nothing has absolutely changed since we reported to you guys last. Still in the Tesla long, Fabian. Still in the Foot Locker long, guys. Over here, I was looking for a move into 27 and a fifth, but this is not. It's putting in a rounded top. So if I'm going to wait for it exactly into 26.50. So I'll go break even on the rest here, because if it makes a higher low and continues, I want to be part of it. If I get out of here and it prints a higher low, I'm no longer part of it. So I'm just going to wait, pack my patience. I'm going to wait exactly into that 26.50 to come in. I may not have to wait long. We're only 13 pennies here away from that level on Foot Locker. So we'll let that one do its thing. Tesla still at 177, a little bit above, a little bit below. We've de-risked the majority of this Tesla trade. The one that I've still waiting here is 177 and 2/3, but that one looks less likely to come in at the moment. The last trade that I've got is this Amazon short that we're short at $0.25. Best print that I have was the $0.75, so that was a nice 50 penny winner. But it's right back into 179.90s, still below 180 though, and that kind of mini trend that we've had here, lower highs, lower highs, lower highs, and lower lows, still in place. We haven't made a newer high. I think the newer high, in my estimation, would come through a break of this 180.10. If that happens, then maybe we'll look to cover everything there. So that is my look. Let's have a look at the small cap gappers. I haven't traded any, but we did mention a couple today. And ironically enough, not a lot of them are small cap gappers because they're all kind of really big. Here it is. So CRM is the one that I've got eyes on. So you should have seen, man, Mark Benioff yesterday on with Kramer. He's like, nothing happened. It's like the stock didn't drop like 30%. He's just stone cold chilling. It's down 20.5% from yesterday's closing print. So that's big. That's a one-day move. And that's why this is a Dow component, right? CRM? It is a Dow component, says Neil. And so that's why the Dow took it on the chin today. Anyway, it's rejecting off the 50 at 219.50 over here. So I could definitely be interested in this level. It's getting away from that, though. Look at it. It's 217.75 right now. Possible double top over here. We definitely had a bit of an ascent right back into that level before we descended again. So I'm keeping eyes on CRM. The other one I'm keeping eyes on is HUMA, and this one really looked like it was no longer tradable under my system. Tanked below the volume weighted average price all the way down into that 8.25, and now we're knocking the door of 9 again. HUMA, this thing is a monster. I'll give you the deets on it again. It's not even a small cap gapper. This one's a bit bigger. $1 billion market cap, 5.58 million shares done on the day, 81.5 million share float. Definitely having issues with 9, so we'll keep tabs on HUMA. Momo was the other one that I was looking at, but this one is, the volume's really died off and it's hugging VWAP, so I've got nothing interesting to say about that one. ONMD, I've got nothing on. And FL, well, we're in it right now, and it better hold this level, Adara, 26.50. It's at 26.61, so we're awfully close to getting stopped out. What the only saving grace that I can kind of see here is a possible double bottom. I guess you'll have that confirmed if it breaks through 27.25, because that's where we topped off last time. If it can take that 27.25, then we know this was a legit double bottom. Otherwise, I don't want to need the smoke below the $0.50 level.
That was a great look, though. I mean, shout out to you in that Foot Locker trade, printing and stomping all over that move to the upside. Don't know what that was. Apple, you know, it's funny. As you were saying, and I agree, Apple has indeed been doing that thing where, you know, it's becoming kind of more of a day trading stock. It's moving more. But does that mean it moves more when you're in it? No. No, Apple is still the dead one. It's still so fun to be. No, I'm joking. I've just been babysitting it. If we break above 65 here, I'm out. At this point, I think we are kind of trying to curl higher. Happy I took out some profit. Happy I added because I liked it where I did. But it's all good there. But, you know, if you want to add and contribute to our afternoon segment, there's a really easy way to do that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you for that. Adara, guys, we're going to annoy you with this because we have to. 2 to 220, different segment now. You probably know about it if you've been hanging out with us the last week, but if you haven't, it's a segment where it's the time of the day when you have your say. You're gonna go in the chat there, Katina man. You're gonna go in, you're gonna type in ! join space $, throw in the ticker that you want the big kahunas to cover. Do you want to know about Sean's Tesla trade? Do you want to see what Neil was up to this morning? I know he had umpteen amount of trades. So make sure you're going in, you're having your say for the big kahunas to come up 2 to 220. They're going to cover all the names that you want, but you got to make it into that top 5. Otherwise, it's not going to get covered. So go ahead, vote now, baby. 2 to 220 every day. The big kahunas are going to cover your stock. So keep an eye on that, Adair.
Yeah, who doesn't want that? Everyone should want that. So
My mustache.
what? The segment, it will still be here, guys.
Yes.
So you will still be seeing the mustache. You just, unfortunately, much to everyone's deepest chagrin, we could not chart the mustache. We could not talk about levels on the mustache. So just be aware of that before placing your votes. You will see the mustache, but we could not chart it. Pardon?
What did you say, Ram? Look, Ram said she will start trading actively if Stash wins. So if you guys get Stash to the top, Ram is apparently going to start trading.
Yeah, Ramin, I'll give you my seat.
Yeah.
That'd be such a... she said,
no, she said it's rigged. Don't do that.
That's pretty funny.
We don't want to rig it. Yeah.
No, yeah, we're all good.
Yep.
But yeah, all jokes aside, you will still see the mustache, I promise. Also, Apple, happy with how I managed this. I didn't just get out the second it started being boring, because if that was the case, I would have been out the second. No, I'm joking. I'm not, like, we like Apple as a stock. We're not bullying Apple. It's just, I find it to be a deeply frustrating name to day trade sometimes, because it does kind of move like molasses at times. Happy though I got out. I was risking up into 65. The second we get into 65s, I'm like, okay, bye Apple. And Apple's like, okay, Adara, I'm gonna keep going now. I'm like, okay, I don't need you in my life. That's fine. I don't know why I'm acting like I have some intense thing going on with Apple, but if we bounce off of 65s or 55s, I'll get in. But part of why I left PDD was to babysit Apple. And I mean, that was, like this is honestly, PDD's become a range, which is like, when am I ever going to say no to a range? Never. That's the answer. If it's a range I like. Happy with how I played this. PDD right now, my only positive name on the day. That is not a brag, it's just a fact. But I mean, I'd love to have some of the other tickers join that list. You know, Tesla, if you want to join the roster, if you give me some opportunities. But yeah, honestly, like I said, not really disappointed with any of the trades I've taken. I'm happy with how I manage things. And I mean, Tesla coming back to that 177.30 rejection. I don't know what that voice was, but this could be a quick little short. Okay, actually though, before I say that, we have had that flat top and higher lows, and this was a level of resistance in the okay. Oh,
the Katina man is taking some out of Tesla.
Okay, well that does give me a little bit of confidence, actually. We're gonna take a really small position. Because I mean, if I like it, why am I not taking it? So that's what I did. That's what I did with all these other Tesla trades. Did they work out? No, but was I confident about them? Did I like the setups? Yes. That's still the case here. If we break above 177.55s, I'll get out. I'm risking 20 pennies. I want to see this motion in the ocean to the downside. How goes your Foot Locker?
They're all actually good, Adira. I'm just going to leave them to kind of do their thing 21, so to speak. But there's a new small cap gapper, and it's going, baby. MNTS on the way to dollar. Just touched quadruple nines. 9999 HOD topping tail candle coming in here. Watch out. Here's the deal. $12.25 million market cap. Volume 63.5 million shares done on the day. The float 13.1 million shares. The short float 1.09%, quite negligible, but this one is a good one here. We're going to see if this one can break a buck. Sadly, I only had eyes on it really recently. I still have this stupid kind of filter where I'm filtering everything below 85 pennies. I really need to change that to 50 pennies, and I think I will right now, actually. So this one, I just kind of had eyes on it. Look, the 10-period retracement has been the majority of the retracements, but as you'll see, because the 10 and the 20 are awfully close, the wicks have made it down into the 20. The volume has started picking up. As you can see, 1245, second highest volume, then 1250, and then the biggest volume candle on the day just came in 1 minute ago. This 1 minute candle had over 1.75 million shares done as we knocked on the door of a buck. So what I'll be looking for is a healthy retracement. Where? Well, initially, I'll be looking at the 10. If the 10 doesn't hold up, then I'll be looking at the 20. VWAP is going to be my line in the sand. That just goes without saying because I don't trade these small cap gappers long south of VWAP. So it's going to have to hold up about above 75 pennies for me to stay interested in it. But this one is looking real good. But be careful with this topping tail candle. Sometimes we get that initial rejection off a buck, and then you'll have a second or third or fourth attempt, and then you get the break of a buck. If not today, then maybe tomorrow. Keep eyes on MNTS, 77% in the clear.
Wow. MNTS, got a lot of you could afford a lot of mints with an MNTS long. Speaking of small caps, was I looking for an excuse to bring up Lucy? We'll never know. We will never know. Bless you. But I don't know. I still don't have levels on this thing. We're curling back up. But if we have another, like that $1 reject on that wick basis, like, oh, if we get back to $1 and reject Lucy, I'm coming for you. Again, I always sound like I'm in a horror movie when I'm talking to that stock. But I really, if I see something I like on that, I'm going to trade it viciously. Tesla. So... But yeah, so we're gonna see how Tesla goes. I want to see what happens in this name. Sharif killing it in that long earlier, but now I think I don't know how well this short's gonna do. But you have to have, if you like a setup, you have to take it. I like the setup, so that is why I took it. We can't all have confidence because we're not all Sean Katina of Katina Capital, but we can't all have confidence, and that's what I have in my Tesla trade. Nvidia, John Del Senio saying Nvidia is indeed rejecting. Yeah. Yes, but also I want to point out, we are consolidating at the previous area of support. I don't know if NVIDIA's dead yet. Look at this.
Oh, very interesting.
I don't know if this is a real level or an Adara level, but we have that $1,135 level. We bounce, and we bounce. Now, we are rejecting the 90 MA, but I think sometimes when we chop and churn this hard, it could mean something's in the water, especially when we did so earlier. Also, Pre-market support, pre-market support, pre-market support. Sorry, I got really excited about that level. I like this 1135. I don't disagree, Daniel Senyo, but I don't know if NVIDIA is ready to throw in the towel quite yet. There might be another towel here. I don't know what that analogy was. But also a couple people mentioning NEO, so I'll take a quick look at that before I sauce it back to my pal Sharif over here. Yeah, NEO is gorgeous. This VWAP bounce, VWAP bounce, VWAP bounce, just beautiful VWAP bounces. Then it's like, what's VWAP? I don't know VWAP. Bounces off the 90 MA to the upside. This is gorgeous. NEO does not want to stop. We are near high of days right now. We just made the new high of day, 533, currently at 532. What a look for NEO. I mean, that one is just motoring to the upside, or it's not motoring because it's an EV. So it's driving to the upside there. But how are you doing?
Do you know that song Motoring from the 80s? Motoring. Dun, dun, dun,
I think I know it to hear it, because I feel like a lot of those 80s songs, like you need to hear the synth line and then you know.
Yeah, I don't even know the name, but I just know that they say motoring.
Sounds really familiar.
Yeah, for sure you've heard it.
Yeah.
Yeah, watch. We're going to get, yeah, the Katina Man knows it. Yeah, I forget too. I'm sure the chat will let us know quite quickly there. No. I was about to read it. I shouldn't have read that. All right. Yeah, you saw that, right?
I did.
It's by Sister Christian. Yes, that is right. Yes, Bikal, what's your price for flight? I'm not Mr. Right.
Oh, I know this song.
Be all right tonight. I'm not saying that out loud. But yeah, shout out to the Katiba. He's going to hit to let you know exactly what he was saying there. There it is. All right, we're having a good time, guys. Sorry, I hope I didn't blow anybody's speakers with my horrible voice, but it's all I have. My mama gave it to me, and that's all I've got there for you guys. All right, Tesla on the way up. Something's going on. Tesla on to the way up there, but so is the Zon. So trouble for me here on Amazon. We're only 25 pennies in the money now. We didn't get triggered on Tesla. We're still waiting at 69s because what's life without whimsy? Here comes 65. 66 is showing up there on the ask. Let's see if we can get a little bit more on TSLA. Nice volume spike coming there midday. Now 0.81 in the clear. Here comes 69. 69 showing up. Can we see 70s? We didn't get filled yet. That's okay. We'll let that one go. But Zon, wow. Wow, that was a topping tail candle there, Kadima. Shout out to him. But wow, what a topping tail candle there came in on the Zon. So I thought we were going to break. We got all the way up to 180.10, right back down there into 179.89. It is 1 o'clock. We don't have any auctions today. At 1 o'clock, we had an 8-week and a 4-week, both at 11:30, I believe. So that really can explain this midday move here. But we'll always, as we always do, we'll keep tabs on everything that's happening in the market. I think Foot Locker is definitely going to break down now because now we're getting multiple lower highs. I'm just going to leave it. My stop's in place. I didn't get filled in on Tesla. We were 1 penny from getting filled. Oh. So, yeah, that's just the way it is kind of thing, Adara. So,
it's always sad, though.
Yeah. So it's all good there. What are you guys looking at? Comp SRX1, AMD, short on. Let's have a look at that for you, sir. Because big Kyle Burdett was talking about that short from a hot minute ago. Let's see what we're looking at here. Let's go at the 5-minute on AMD. Okay, so now we are at the IB high. There it is. I see what you're saying. 168 essentially was the IB high over here. That was exactly the high of the day, but that came in at 925. That's why technically it's 167.95, not this 168. Doesn't really matter. We're talking about 5 pennies on a $170 name, and down it goes. 50 pennies before you can say, what's up, Sharif? All the way down there. Topping tail candle coming in. Good look there for the shorts on AMD. Adara.
Everything's getting topping tail candles.
Oh.
I wanted Meta, and Meta was like, no, Adara, I will fall. I wanted Microsoft. Microsoft's like, no, Adara, you do not pass these Bill Gates. You will not be Steve Ballmer dancing in this trade. I will not allow you to do so. So I was like, okay, Microsoft. It said Satya, no Della. Okay, I'll stop making puns now. But, okay, we actually are at Microsoft now, so hopefully that's a good thing. If we break above, I'm gonna risk into 80s. If we break above 419.80s, I'll be out. I am not adept at trading this name in the way that Sharif is. I feel like you have a really good read on Microsoft a lot of the time. I do not, but I did like that we had this kind of curl down here. I think we might be curling. We're below VWAP. Look at all these rejections. the more I look at this, actually, the better I feel about this trade. So I think that's always a good sign. It's never good when you look at a trade and the more you look at it, the more you feel like I made a mistake. And I don't feel that on Microsoft.
No.
So that's nice. I'm happy with the amount of shares I have. I'm cool with that. Look at this 419 base. Like this is, I don't know if I think Microsoft's going to go lower than 419. So I'll take profits at 419. Also, it's a weird feeling when the name that you feel like you're the most confident with the trades you've made on and you're happiest with the execution on is your worst name on the day P&L wise by a long shot. That goes to you, Tesla. You are that. You are that. But I will say, as much as these trades have not worked out for me, like I said, I'm proud of everyone I took because A, I took them on levels, B, I was really confident about them, and C, I executed them appropriately and I got out where I needed to. It kind of harkens back to Neil's lesson of the day, which I want to shout out. It's like, if you have the plan and you trade the plan, you can't be too upset about that. So here's to you, Tesla. Clink. Actually, I have a cup. What am I doing? Here's to you, Tesla. The trades were not perfect, but I'm super happy that I tried them. So I think sometimes that will matter more than what the P&L was on them. In this case, the P&L was not great on them, but I do want to shout out Sharif and Sean for having those great Tesla trades. Microsoft coming up a little bit here, so we are going to have to be getting out of Microsoft. Do not pass go. Do not collect 200 computers. Yeah, like I said, this has not been my best trading day, but that means the only way to go up is from here, not in the P&L, but in your spirit. Other than Tesla, because like I said, I am weirdly proud of those trades.
Good.
All of them, even though they didn't work out, because I think it is about the execution and how you try. Oh, a new view, actually asking a really interesting question that you might have a better perspective on than I do. Sure. But say, why do you think it's so hard for stocks to break through the $1 level?
Oh, that's interesting because there is that key,
It's
psychological, and there's the 4 decimal point area.
That's true.
So sub $1, we trade on 4 decimal points. North, we trade on 2. So we have more level 2s to take out. It's technically shouldn't make a difference because share size is share size, notional value is notional value. It doesn't end up working that way though.
That's interesting. One thing I will say as well, in the case of the one small cap with which I'm familiar, Lucy, is I think for Lucy, and I'm going to even zoom out to show you what I mean, because for a stock I haven't traded, I've been studying it obsessively. I think sometimes it's like once you get over that level 2, then once you get over it, you can use it more as a level of support and resistance, right? So Lucy, $1 being a huge level of support yesterday. And then we see it resistance, a little bit of resistance, right? So I think too, once it becomes a repeating level, especially with it being that $1 psychological level, once it hits, I think it kind of has this ability to continue to hit. So I think this, this Lucy is, I mean, one example that obviously I'm a little bit biased towards because not that I've even traded it, I just really want to have a level I like on it. So one of the strangest examples of bias here for Lucy, but yeah, I think in all seriousness, I think Lucy's a good example too of, I think Sharif, like what you said about that psychological level is huge, but I think too, once you have a level 4, of course it's gonna stay on our minds, right? So I think once you have that $1 level become a level, then you're more likely to see it recur. I don't know if that made any sense.
It does, because every stock south of $1 is gonna come into $1. Yeah. It's just, that's the way it is, right?
Yeah. And then it can bounce off $1 if it comes back.
Well, that's
right?
the thing.
Example of Lucy.
And that's why Neil told me that, okay, so originally I had my scanner set to $1. So anything sub $1, I didn't want to have notice of because I didn't want to trade them. But Neil's the one that brought to my attention. He's like, okay, dude, there's a trade to be had at the dollar, whether long or short, rejection or a breakout. So that's why I changed it to 85 pennies. But now I like trading them even sub $1. That was not my style before. That's cool. So I'm going to move my screener all the way down to 50 pennies. So I'll screen everything out below 50. And MNTS is going here. It didn't give me a 20-period retracement, despite the fact that it had basically given it every time, broke through a buck, up into $1.03, dancing a little bit above a buck, a little bit below. For the dude who said this was a dud in the chat, do you still feel that way? There's trades to be had one way or another, dude. And it doesn't really matter if it's coming into a buck and rejects initially. That's what I was trying to tell you. I was like, yo, this could absolutely make a 3rd and 4th attempt at $1. Don't dismiss it so quickly. Give it an opportunity to actually manifest.
Have you seen your Tesla? You might want to look at your Tesla.
I covered. It's the Katina man who's printing on Tesla right now.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, there it is.
You guys both out because like.
Guys, I'm in the sim today, but I'm happy with the way that I trade. Last day in the sim. Tomorrow I'll be back live. Compliance exam issues. Now look at Tesla, guys. Wow, there it is. 178 break, and now we are on the way up. Looks like maybe into 179 because that's where the volume weighted average price is hanging out. You'll see that denoted here on the chart. So great look for TSLA here as it recovers a little bit from that big move down. It was up well over 1%. Now it's clear 1%. It was up at that 182 2/3 earlier in the day. Foot Locker, I've already put my out through the break of this low, so it looks as if we will get a break with the lower highs and the lower lows. This looks like it's going to be a flat bottom break. Still profitable on it. Took the bounce, but should have looked at it as just that, just a bounce, rather than an entire mean reversion on that. The Zon is the last trade that I have. Not the last trade, but one of the last trades that I have on over here. I was packing my patience, really thinking that this is going to descend, but looks as if the futures are making higher highs, and Amazon may want to take that 180 on a closing basis. It's really had trouble with 180 the majority of the afternoon. I haven't covered anything since over here at 12:30, so we've been 40 minutes here in Amazon without covering. I did get bottom wick at that $0.75, but now it looks like it's going to trigger me out here if it moves above 180 1/4. So we'll see there. I want to mention the dead one, because the dead one is on the way up into 192. It was a series of higher highs and higher lows, but I want to point out this level for Apple. If you're getting excited that Apple's moving here, Apple has a tendency to reject off the previous day's high. I've been noticing this about Apple for a little while. So if Apple makes its way into 192 1/4, I'm shorting. That's if it does that within the next 50 minutes. 192 1/4 HOD yesterday on Apple. IB high today on Apple is at 192.15-ish. Right now it just broke above 192. Apple looks awfully strong today. But as I've been seeing a lot lately, you have a nice move up midday or during the day on Apple, and then you retrace the entire move. Case in point, yesterday, nice move up into 192, all the way back down on Apple. The day before that, big move up in the pre, all the way back down on Apple. So Apple's being traded more. That's the way I feel. I mentioned that to Adara. How that factors in your analysis, I mean, everybody's going to be different. HOD at the moment.
How did you make that? That was literally like a wah wah or like a no, I enjoyed it. Also, yeah, so you might have seen something on my blotter that had you raise your eyebrows, and that is fair. I did. Okay, again, I still want to talk about the management on this, but basically what I saw in my side chart was I saw Tesla pause at 178 in VWAP. And I said, Adara, you owe it to, like, for me, I'll take a trade like this only if I feel it in my bones. Like, I feel something being like, I really like this opportunity. I did with Tesla, and I risked 20 pennies. I managed it appropriately. Why did I risk 20 pennies? This pre-market level around 20. So it's like, I can't be upset about it. Can I look back and be like, why were you so eager to short this stock having an incredible run? I'm sure there's something, you know, we could write a diary about that tonight, and I think maybe I will. But I'm so happy I took it. And I still manage it appropriately, which, again, it's always weird when the stock that you feel like you executed the best on is a stock where you have exclusively losing trades. Again, I need to figure that out. I need to say about that. I don't know. But I'm happy I tried it, and I'm happy we had the trade. Also, if you have a certain ticker you'd like to look at, all you have to do, and when I say look at, I mean we will have Sean and Neil take a look at it from 2 to 2:20, and we will have Sharif himself on the green screen talking about it. How do you get involved, you may ask? Well, I have an answer for you. Go in that chat right now. You can do it once a day. Exclamation point, join, space, $, your ticker of choice. Is it Tesla? Is it PDD? Is it AMD? Is it Meta? Is it Lucy? I don't know. Only you know. Just put that in the chat right now. Thank you, Ramin, for putting that up there. So enter whatever ticker you would like in there. Also, Tesla's actually maybe going to give me the level, but I can't obsess over that. I still want my PDD. I think we are going to break down here. I'm trying to play the range of that. We will be transitioning to the lesson of the day soon, but I think if I'm going to probably just let PDD have a nice little cook there. Keep it on the oven, flip it over every once in a while, make sure that it is appropriately cooked in the oven. But I do think that this PDD has some opportunities. Neil putting his sticker of choice in there. Join Mustache. No, good times there. Also, thank you so much to Kyle Burdett with a $5 super chat and an earworm for all of us. Madonna, like a prayer to get your day started. Straight banger. Yeah, that song is. I've had that song in my head since I saw that super chat. So thank you so much. To to Kyle for that super chat and for putting like a prayer in my head. I feel like my Tesla shares might need a prayer, or my Tesla short, sorry. But I mean, like I said, I feel like I'm trying to be more upset about these trades than I am, which is weird. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like I'm trying to be like, oh, bah humbug, but I'm still really happy with the execution in all of them. So, like, don't try to be upset about trades, Adara. That's a weird strategy to take. Yeah, I'm still going to try to get into this PDD as we head into the lesson. But what are you doing? How are you looking?
Oh, yeah, I was just looking at Amazon, Adara, because it did come in aggressively into my entry there. So is there a stop on Amazon? One moment, please. Just have a look here. No, there is no stop. So we're going to put a stop. And it's going to be at 26 pennies. Well, let me just double check that because I was looking at VWAP. I don't want to break the volume weighted average price. Yeah, it's literally at $0.25. So maybe I'll give it to 30. So we're going to go ahead 180.31, and then we'll look to cover. I'll give it like a 6 penny spread, 5 penny spread there. So we'll look to cover the entire position there on Amazon if it breaks up above 30. So I'm giving it a bit, 5-6 pennies here between VWAP and my out, because the market is curling back up here. So now we have the NQ above the volume weighted average price. It's still negative on the day, almost 0.5%, 0.45 right now, but it has been putting in sequentially higher highs and higher lows, and we just got to break through the volume weighted average price. We hit the 200 and then came back down. There's really no specific price action levels at this area that I really like. Nothing in the pre, nothing afterwards as well. So let's see exactly what we do here. Is this a perfunctory break of VWAP and then a topping tail candle, and then we come back down, like a specialist breakout as we call it? We'll exactly wait and see here on the NQ, but that's helping a lot of these Mag 7 names push higher, Tesla included. We haven't really said much here on NVIDIA on the day, but I want to point this out because when Adara brought this NVIDIA trade up earlier, it looked awfully interesting. It was like the softy trade. This one came in a VWAP reject. Now, I'm not, the idea here that this is putting in higher low, so this could be a flat top breakout, and we know how parabolic this can trade. So shorting NVIDIA, I'm going to be super careful, sim or not, I don't care. I have to be careful with the trades to get in the right reps. So 1142 will be looking short, but I did love this on Softy when Adara pulled it up earlier because we had the proof. We had the proof that Microsoft was respecting VWAP as a level of resistance. Sometimes we sit there at VWAP looking to get short when something's below it. Although that particular name hasn't featured with VWAP on the day. Why are you using it? Why are you using the 50 if it hasn't featured? So that's what I always try to remind myself before you get in at a level that you like. Look to see, has it featured on the day? Is it relevant to the intraday day trading that you're doing today? If it isn't, I'm less likely to use it. But this is proof, baby, that the volume weighted average price is acting as a top today on MSFT. And then it's sending it back down. You've had two topping tail candles, both into the volume weighted average price here on the soft one. So keeping an eye on all these names, and I'm definitely interested on Apple, 129.25 short.
Yeah, that Apple is.
Can I just mention one thing
please
before you go? Before you start the lesson, guys, in case you don't know, we have a new segment, 2 to 220. I hate to keep repeating myself for those who have heard me, but we got to mention this. Between 2 to 220, it's no longer Brendo and I at the big desk. It's me at the green screen and the big kahunas to my right, and they're going to talk about the names that you want to talk about. So it's that time of the day when you have your say. So go into the chat there, hit exclamation point, join, space, $, and throw in the ticker that you want the big kahunas to cover. Neil and Chuck.
And vote right away.
Yeah.
Add to your run.
Ooh, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, because it's not here to stay.
Have your say.
Yeah, have your say before it goes away.
I love it.
Today. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, we're done. Now we're going to stop right now.
Yes.
But we are going to talk about something else very pressing, the futures.
Oh.
Be cool. They're actually not pressing right now. I'm just rhyming, but talking. So let's talk about the futures because intraday futures will often offer some fun little levered opportunities, some leveraged exposure to, I said that word so wrong, exposure to the underlying markets. But it does require a strong understanding of the little quirks of each instrument. So let's talk about that. Here's a breakdown of some of the more popular options. So let's talk about the NQ E-mini NASDAQ 100. So this will track the NASDAQ 100, which is a stock market index of 100 large non-financial U.S. companies. I did not realize it was non-financial.
Yeah, neither did I.
So that's very cool. What about the ES? That's going to be the E-mini S&P 500. This will track the S&P 500, which is, you know, a stock market index you may be familiar with here. And it does, it's 500 leading U.S. companies across a variety of sectors. Now, what about ETFs, exchange traded funds? One of them is going to be the QQQs, or the Invesco QQQ Trust, similar to the NQ, but it's actually as an ETF, and it will also be tracking the NASDAQ 100 index. What about the SPY? The SPY, so that's the SPDR S&P 500 ETF Trust. This will track the S&P 500 index, similar to the ES, but as an ETF. Now, what about leveraged ETFs? You'll hear what a lot of times someone will be like, oh, short the market, and he's going to be talking about the TQs for the most part. That is the ProShares Ultra Pro QQQ. So this one is proficient in using that 3x daily leverage return of the QQQs. And so it will amplify your gains. It's also going to amplify those L's, which is not fun, but a fact of life. What about the SQQQs? This is what I traded when I first started going live. This is the ProShares Ultra Pro Short QQQs. So this will provide 3 times or negative 3 times daily leverage returns on the Qs. So if the Qs are up, you're going to be losing on the SQs. But if you're short the Qs, or if you're long this when the Qs are down, then you're going to be doing pretty well, because that's when this goes up when the Qs fall. It can be, I will say, it can be a really weird feeling when you're long the SQs and it's high of day and the markets are falling. It's a weird time. That was as someone who was doing that briefly. So interesting times there. You definitely have to get yourself in the right mindset for trading those reversed ones. Let's talk about some of the peculiarities and differences between these. So index versus the ETF. The NQ and the ES are futures contracts. They're going to be expiring on specific dates, and the Qs and the SPYs are going to be ETFs, so they give you a more continuous holding. Also, I got distracted. Lindy, yes, Dell is reporting tonight.
Yes, I'll get to that in a second, too.
So yeah, I just want to solve that question.
I got it ready. Yep.
Perfect. So leverage is something worth noting as well. With the TQs and the SQs, they're going to magnify your daily returns by 3 times. So they're going to be riskier and not suitable for long-term holdings due to the compounding effects, because that's going to be up and down and all around on your longer-term trades. What about market cap? NQ is large cap tech, whereas the ES is going to give you a broader exposure across a few different sectors. Here's one example too that I think is really cool. I found this online. They took a screenshot. It was the exact same time frame on the NQ and the Qs at the exact same time, showing how you have different signals. NQ actually giving you a little bit of support, while the Qs look like they're falling lower and they're actually showing oversold. So I think that's kind of an interesting example here. Shout out to the internet. Let's talk about day trading considerations for intraday opportunities here. So liquidity, NQ and the ES are going to be highly liquid, making them easier to enter and exit trades, and the leverage in the TQs and the SQs can increase those bid-ask spreads. Volatility, or volatility, as I talk about when trading one, LLY, which I've not looked at in a very long time. Volatility in the NQ and the TQs can be a little bit more intense because they're very tech heavy. I mean, we know how NASDAQ goes, or NVIDIA goes. We know how Tesla goes. We know how Apple doesn't go. Some of these names do give you some more volatility in the big cap, mega cap techs. You have to be aware of that. But how do you trade each instrument? So here are some of the core mechanics of buying and selling. So the NQ and the ES, it's going to be more focusing on price movements, margin requirements, so initial deposit to hold a position, and those contract expiration dates. What about the Qs and the SPY, you may ask? Well, let's tell you. So the Qs and the SPY are similar to the NQ and the ES, but they don't have any expiry concerns. You do not have to worry about the best before date on these. Consider the expense ratios or annual fees. Thank you, I'm happy you got that one. And associated with ETFs. Let's talk about the TQs and the SQs as well. Due to leverage, these are definitely going to be more of a focus for short-term holdings. To avoid compounding effects, strictly manage these with stop-loss orders. What about contract size? We like that. So the NQ, or the E-mini NASDAQ 100, brain stopped working there for a second. This will represent $1,000 per point on the NQ index. MNQ is a smaller version of the NASDAQ. That's going to be $20 per point of the NASDAQ index. Thank you for putting this on the presentation as well.
That's not how much you make, though.
No, it's representing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, I know, because I saw some chat in the
it's not how
chatter.
much you
Yeah.
Saw some chatter. Let's talk about the ES, or the E-mini S&P 500. That's going to represent $500 per point in the S&P 500 index. What about the MES, that micro E-mini S&P 500? Yeah, well, let's see how messy this is. Similar to the MNQ, it's going to be like a little baby version of the ES, and it represents $50 per point of the S&P 500 index. What about tick value?
That's what you make now. This is it.
This is what you make.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sharif, for putting that out there. So this is what you make. So this is tick is the minimum price movement a contract can experience. So the NQ and the ES both have a minimum tick value of 0.25 index point. For the NQ, this will translate to $250, so $1,000 times 0.25. And for the ES, it's $1,250 because it's going to be 500 times 0.25. What about the MNQ and the MES, you may ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. Due to their smaller contract sizes, they actually have proportionally smaller tick values. So MNQ has a tick value of 0.25 index points. That translates to about 50 cents, so 20 times 0.25. And MES has a minimum tick value of 0.25 index points as well. So it's going to be equivalent to 125 because $50 times 0.25. So imagine NQ and the ES are little standard buckets, each holding $1,000 or $500 of water respectively. A single tick would be like adding or removing a quarter cup of water, which I think is pretty cool of an analogy. But some key takeaways, the NQ and the ES are larger contracts for experienced traders. And the MNQ and the MES are the little babies. They're smaller and better suited for beginners. And tick value is crucial to understanding potential profits and loss on each trade. So that's it.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you for that, Adair. Just want to mention quick, guys, go and have your say right now. Go into the chat and type in the following prompt. Make sure there's a space between the word join and the Amazon ticker thing over here. There we go. Let me see if I can create that. There we go. There, you should be able to see the space. I'm seeing some people type it in without the space, so make sure there is a space there. Type in whatever ticker you want the Big Kahunas to cover. 2 to 220 every day. It's when you have your say. So go ahead and do that today, or you won't have any more. Anyway, I want to mention this quickly here, Dell, because this was being talked about in the chat. Guys, Dell is reporting today after the bell, so make sure to catch that with Adara and Sean on the Market Recap show. But this is the reason I'm showing you this. The previous move on Dell was up 31.6%. This thing can move, okay? This time around, the options action is showing plus or minus 14% from the closing price, okay? So keep that in mind. That is awfully wide. That is the biggest I see here, maybe saving except for the gap, which also reports, I guess, after the market closed today, they're also plus or minus 14%. But as you can see here, the 31.6% that we moved last time is proof in the pudding that this thing can absolutely go. The options volume is almost at 200,000. That's bigly. So keep your eye on Dell after the bell as well. Costco also reporting the monster was like all-time highs last time I looked at it. Expected move plus or minus 4.2%. Last time around, it dropped about 7.6%. But I guess it doesn't really matter that it dropped last time because it's at all-time highs. So good look there for Costco. These are all after the bell. So make sure you're catching that with the Katina Man and Adara. Zscaler on there as well, man. And that's going to be important for me as I'm long PanDub. And these, cybersecurity names have a way of influencing each other because they're obviously reporting on corporate spending. And the implication is that, if they're spending less in Zscaler, that might translate to PanW. But I want to mention to you guys something that I mentioned when PanDub did report, that I'm a little concerned about this sector specifically because corporations are seeming now to distribute their cybersecurity budget. So a little, let's say 25% with PanDub, maybe 25% with Cloudflare, another 25% with Zscaler. So the reason they're doing that is because they feel, if one provider gets compromised, their entire system doesn't get compromised. So they allocate different parts of their system to different cybersecurity names. That doesn't spell good news for investors who want, concentration, I guess, in the good names, or maybe I do. I'm biased because I want PanDub to go up. But anyway, I want to mention that to you guys. So Dell after the bell, Costco after the bell, Ram. We're going to get Zscaler as well and some other names. So keep on tap for that big stuff coming up here. All right. let's have a look at the trades that we're currently in. We're still long Foot Locker, and I'm almost going to get printed here. It looks like. I don't know why I didn't get crossed. I'm sitting at 26 mid-90s to print. There's definitely support. I won't be convinced otherwise at 26.5. That's now a triple bottom on the 1 minute on Foot Locker off that 26.5. Seems to be a buyer in and around there. And that's not by accident, guys. This stuff doesn't typically happen by accident. This is the look on Foot Locker, and this was the pre-market top, and now this is the after the bell bottom. Funny how that switches up, huh?
Oh, yeah.
So keep your eyes on FL if you are interested in such a trade. Let's have a look at AMZN, the last trade we have on. Wow, we're still dancing below the volume weighted average price, really looking like we want to break it. I'm going to stay short. I've already have my out. It's a break of 30s. If 30s break, then that's the end of the line for me. The other trade that I'm looking for, wow, I didn't get filled. That sucks. So I'm sitting here at 83.5 to get filled. It comes down into 84. I'm talking about MNTS, and that would have put me 10 pennies in the money. I tried to get a dip trade off the volume weighted average price. That was the entire idea here, or just front running the volume weighted average price. VWAP was sitting at 80, so I said, look, get 83s. Come on, bro. Yeah, sometimes you just miss them, and I guess I'm missing this one. So that's 0 for 2 now on MNTS. Not 0 for 2 and I lost money, but I haven't been able to get into it off both dips. MNTS proving an elusive target for me today. Last but not least, before I throw it to Adara, I'm very interested in shorting Apple at 129 1/5, 129 1/4, all the way up to a third even. I'm basing that on the fact that it's been coming into previous day's highs and rejecting. Also, it's also had a propensity to give back the entire day's move into the close. So if Apple starts coming down here, I'll be looking to get short.
Yeah, I mean, I've been short biased all day, for good, better, for worse, mostly for worse. But this PDD it's doing something here. I think I might be curling back up, but I have no reason to leave yet. If we have that decisive break above this kind of range here into 153s, and I'm trying to be cognizant of my risk as well, because it's not been the best trading day, so we don't have that much to go around. So being cognizant of that as well. But that being said, you might be like, Adara, why short Tesla again? I'll tell you, I have a reason. My reason is, look at these wicks here up into 178.60 that are just not being fulfilled. I watched this a couple times and I said, Adara, you, for whatever reason, you still really want to short Tesla. You still like the look of this. Do it. Be like Nike, just do it with a small position. So I did. And I think it may work against me again. But like I said, it's weird when the trades you are most proud of, and in this case, we did work again. As I'm yattering on about it, Tesla's like, yeah, Dara, I do not care what you want. Oh my God, you won't even let me out now. Come on, Tesla. Please, Tesla, please. So we are out of Tesla now. It is all good. We didn't take that much of a hit on that. Like I said, all of these trades, I felt really proud of the management, with kind of the exception of that one where Tesla wouldn't really let me lead. But again, I was risking 20 pennies, lost 20 pennies. It is what it is. But this PDD to me is a little bit more concerning, because I think we might be trying to bounce here off the 90 MA. I want it to really give me that range it's kind of given you for a while. So if it switches out of that, that's not going to be great. But I'm happy with the trade right now, happy with the building of the trade. And I am trying to trade less off P&L, because you don't learn anything from that. You learn from taking the cuts. And I think one thing Obi was saying as well on Tuesday that I think really resonated with me, he was saying that Greg, who used to be here, would say that, when you make the right decisions, then the P&L comes with that, right? Instead of trading based on P&L. And I think was a huge thing to learn. This is my worst day of the week so far.
It's Saj's line, huh? Okay.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Everybody kind of takes everybody's lines around here, kind of.
Yeah. But I think it's a seriously, I think, a really key thing to keep in mind. And I want to shout out Obi for saying that. Shout out Obi for saying that on Tuesday, because that's something that stuck with me. It's like you want to take the trades that you like beyond anything else. What's happening over here?
Big Patty Ice is letting me know that Mara is absolutely pumping to the high side. So sorry, top VOIP. I know I told you I'd cover ENVX, and I will, I promise. I'll cover it in a second. But I was about to call it a bad name because we lost money on it, but that's okay. MARA, rounded bottom, went green at that 20 1/4, now into that 20 and almost 3/4, dancing with the 2/3 of a dollar. Let's go ahead and put that line right there. That is the break-even line. HOD 21 $2.14. This is an interesting area here, right where we are. This was kind of a bit of a consolidation area top in the pre. I'm talking about that 8:45 till 9:30 time slot. Look at that. On the 5-minute, we consolidated right at this $20.30, and 2/3 of a dollar area, maybe to about 3/4. I'm very not going to take this short, sim or not. I don't want to stand in front of strength, but yeah, Mara, nice recovery, up 2%. Bitcoin up 2.87, knocking the door of 70. Well, not really knocking the door. It's at 69.1. That's not fair. Ether at 38.14. Everything is really up in cryptocurrency world except CleanSpark. It's down 0.5%. Not really sure why. CleanSpark is down. The other mining names are up. Riot's up 3.25. Mara, as I mentioned, 2%. Hut 8, 2.25 as well. So good look there. Elon, wow, Sharif, get ready for BA Rocket Pop and PSTG2. Wishing you the best. Real game soon by tomorrow. Hopefully, yes, sir, we will be back, hopefully live tomorrow. Shout out to Elon. Keep your eye on Boeing and PSTG. Those are the ones he likes there. But I told Voice over Internet Protocol that top VOIP, that I'd be covering ENVX, and I'm very disappointed with myself for not having eyes on ENVX today. And the reason I didn't have eyes on it, 'cause I don't want to say only up 8.34, but you know, with these small cap gappers, you're looking at like 50, 60%, right? The ones that are in single digits don't get your attention, although they should, because this is a beautiful looking stock, man.
Nice look.
Yeah. Thank you for pointing this out, top VOIP. Look, from essentially 1040 onwards, it's been a buy the dip off the 10-period moving average. I mean, I have not seen one closing print south of the 10 period on the 5-minute all day on ENVX. Beautiful look. Let me remind you guys what this is. Enovix Corporation is an advanced silicon battery company. The company is disruptive architecture, enables a battery with high energy density and capacity without compromising safety. Sounds like, what's it called? QuantumScape all over again kind of thing. $1.9 billion market share, 3+ million shares traded on the day, 143 million share float. Find out what the short float is. I probably looked this up before, but I don't remember. Big, very big, 30.83% of that 143 milli is shorted. So this one can go. It's going to be really about where the shorts are hanging out and where they're going to have to buy to cover. So I'm going to be keeping this on the side chart every day now. Thank you very much, top or Voice over Internet Protocol, baby, reminding me that ENVX deserves kind of a place on the side chart here until, you know, it doesn't deserve it anymore. So we're going to kind of no standards there. But yeah, it's printing high days, man. We are at 11.25. This thing is going. But I want to say one thing, that I have this tendency with these small cap gapper type stocks. When they really get extended away from the 10 period, I stay away from them. I look for a dip trade off the 10 or the 20. So I always kind of use the 10 as a gauge. If you're hugging the 10, you're more stable, and I can get something off a closer dip trade. When you start really getting extended like this, Ram, from the 10, which is hanging out at here at 11.09, and the price made 11.26, I become a bit more suspicious. I'd like some sort of mean reversion or some healthy pullback in order to get in. That's just the way I trade these ones. Shout out to you, top Voice over Internet Protocol.
Yeah, I mean that's quite the look there on that that Enovix. Also, I love it too, like, because that's the same reaction I'll have if you see small cap. You're like, why is it running? And then you see the float or the short float, and you're like, oh, never mind. Now I know.
Yeah.
Because if it's a baby float or if it's a giant short float, then you're like, that is the answer I needed. It was here all along. Also, yeah. So Google. I'm making this face because I don't know.
That looks like a range here, damn.
Right? That's what I thought. But we're breaking into 30, so if we keep, we're gonna. I don't know what that sound was. That sound has been my trading all day. It's kind of like. So we're gonna have to wait and see. I also see a range, but what I'm worried about now is I think this could be a baby bull flag, because look at that bottom. We had 1245. Now we're kind of seeing this drop. Yeah, I don't like this anymore. But we tried it. It was fine. I didn't want to be too scared to take it because I had some bad trades in it earlier, because I also had some okay trades in it earlier. So there we go. PDD is continuing to PD dump within its range. And I mean, this is the range play of the day. PDD, I want to give you a round of applause. I want to give you a standing ovation. Like, you were just behaving very well. And I'm sorry I didn't short every pop on you. Only some of them. I want to shout this out. But you know what else? I'll stop giving my weird acceptance speech to PDD. And we'll do something we should all get involved in because we love joiners around here, especially if you're in our chat.
Yeah, and I'm changing Tesla to ENVX Adara.
I like it.
So shout out to Top VIP. Guys, we have a new segment every day. Sorry for those who have heard it. Got to do it again. 2 to 2:20. Me at the big screen, the big kahunas at the big desk. And we're going to talk about the tickers that you vote for. We're going to take the top 5 as most voted in the chat, and we're going to cover them. Neil and Sean are going to give you their levels. They're going to, if they traded, they're going to give you their ideas, the whole shebang. Go into the chat right now. Have your say. Exclamation point. Join space. I'm seeing people enter without space. Space, $, and the ticker of your choice. You know, just for whatever and giggles, we put it there for ENVX. It's a great looking stock. Man, this thing just will not stop, headed to the high side, guys. ENVX printing days highs as we speak. Beautiful look. But go in right now. Go in and have your say. And yeah, we're going to cover that for you guys on the afternoon rundown. All right, here's the look on Amazon. I just was able to cover a little bit back there at 180. I'm happy I didn't paper hand this trade. It came right back into the volume weighted average price and kind of, as I say, suspected, rejected. So we take out some there at 180, but it's really not coming back down into that $0.75. I'm talking about 179 3/4. That was the best print that I've gotten on this one so far. So I just may have to kind of let this one go and take profits where I can get them because it's making higher lows now. And that's 3 successive higher lows. That's the low, that's a higher one, and yeah, you guessed it. This one is a higher one. So if it keeps doing that, you know, typically what ends up happening is a bit of a compression, not a compression, an ascending wedge and a break of the top there. To me, the top is at 189.50, but I think it's definitely having local trouble here with the volume weighted average price, which is about in between $1.33 and $1/4. So we'll see exactly what we get on that. Oh, here we go. MNTS coming right back down. So nice topping tail candles there on the 5 on MNTS through that $1.07 area. Now the VWAP is hanging out at 80 pennies. Do I take the dip at VWAP? Well, let's have a look at the chart. Did this name, MNTS, respect VWAP today to kind of encourage me to use it? And just looking at the chart, I'm going to have to say no. That doesn't mean it won't, but there was no respect here or anywhere around here, right? So I'm very much less inclined to want to take anything off VWAP. I'm more inclined to take something off price action support. And it seems as if this is a base for a reason. This price action that we're at right now, basing out probably because of this double top over here that we have a lot of intersection. So that was I was going to say that's the IB high. That's not the IB high. That's a pre-market high at almost 88 pennies. The IB high took us to about 82.5 pennies. And that's where we're basing out right now. We keep finding support off there. So my first inclination was like, look for a VWAP dip, look for a VWAP dip. And then looking at the chart here, there's just no respect for VWAP by MNTS on the day, so I'm not going to use it. I'll look for something maybe towards the low end of that range. Let's have a look at the big cappers. Amazon right back into the volume weighted average price. So this one does look like it wants to take it on the day. The stop's already in place, so we're going to let that one go. Meta above VWAP. Now, for the first time on a closing basis since the open, we did break it midday there at around 11:45, and then Huadunk went the dynamite on that. Now we take it on a closing basis, but still kind of rangy, quite frankly. Apple HOD as we speak, 192.18. This is looking like a short here, but you know, if I'm thinking that maybe others are, and then that's how you get bamboozled. But you know, my observation has been that Apple rejects off previous day high and basically gives back the entire day into the close. Doesn't have to happen forever, but that's been the local move, I guess I'm trying to say.
Yeah, it's been a really interesting time here in these markets. Yeah, so we're still in PDD. We're just waiting for it to PD dump. Also, there's one question or comment in here from Tony that I thought was really interesting. Is like, why stick with range trading if you're struggling? I actually think for me it's maybe the opposite. I think I'm doing well with range trading. Where I struggle is when I don't range trade. And so I think hearing that kind of made me realize I was like, oh hey Adara, it's the inception of it all.
Ooh.
Maybe it's not, but I do want to shout out Tony for that because I think hearing that comment like kind of made me put things in perspective. It's like, I actually think for me it's the opposite. Like these trades to me are very clean. These are the cleanest trades of the day, these PDD trades. Ignore him, that was a mistake. But these earlier ones, right? So it's like, why am I not doing that more? Now, granted, we didn't get that full range this most recent time, so things are getting vaguely dicey, but they're not dicey yet until we break out of this range, right? So it's like, I need to be more respectful of the range and of my own process. Now, granted, you're not gonna get ranges every day, but you owe it to yourself to try to trade them. I need to stop using the you in this case. I'm talking to myself. But I did want to shout out Tony for that because it did, for some reason, put me into an introspective mood. I think positively. Also, you know, there's someone by the name of Neil Roberts in the chat trying to go exclamation point join mustache. Neil Roberts in the chat, whoever you are, whoever you may be. Unfortunately, Cerise mustache is not a sticker. Because I saw him do that a couple times. I don't know who you are, Neil Roberts, but no, I appreciate that, Tony. No, I didn't think you meant it negatively. I just think like sometimes you have to hear stuff and it kind of puts you in a good zone.
Sure.
So I appreciate that, and I totally agree what you have to say. You're like do what you're good at and what you have to do. And thank you so much. I want to shout out Tony for that. And I also want to shout out the real star of the show. It's the mustache.
No, it's not.
But yeah, I'm in PDD. I have nothing else. Also, Tesla literally is just like, Adara, why did you keep trying to short me today? I will have this big green candle to show you. Like I said, I'm so proud of the management on all of these shorts. But I also want to shout out Sharif to my right for killing that Tesla trades and Sean for killing those Tesla trades. And Tesla, I understand you don't want me to short you. It's cool. I'll stop trying. I did like the setup on all of these, I do have to say, even though they didn't work out. PDD, if you want to keep working out, I would be pleased as darn punch.
Hotlines coming in vis-a-vis the Fed. Our friend Goolsby says, key issue is potential trade-off between inflation and unemployment. Really? You don't say. Expects additional supply chain improvements. Stop trying to blame inflation on supply chain. That's like a 2021 story, bro. Calm down. Goolsby, extremely important that the Fed hits its 2% inflation target since it has centered expectations around that number. What he's not so, surreptitiously trying to say is to dismiss ideas that the Fed's 2% target is a floating kind of target. The Bank of Canada has that, right? So it's plus or minus 1%. 3% down to 1%. The Fed, no. They're fixed on that 2%, so he is sticking with that. So some hotlines coming out of the Fed speak there, Goolsby. Well, yeah, no real market reaction to it at the moment, but just wanted to point that out. So we'll keep an eye on that. ENVX, I'm also keeping an eye on, up almost 10%. So we'll keep tabs on that. I think I'm going to flatten out my trade here on Foot Locker. I'm really upset I didn't get this print at 92s, even though it crossed by some distance. I don't know why the illiquidity happened there. But this 26.5 area, man, for whoever wants a range trade, 26 to the bottom. Yeah, as soon as they're here, is it 26.5 to the bottom, 27-ish to the top side. It seems like a rinse and repeat, maybe until it's not. So FL interesting here. Let's go back to the Zon, right back below 180 again. We go on Amazon, been holding this one all dang day. Got into this one initially, wow, 11:30. So been holding it literally almost the entire show,
Wow.
Yeah, I know. Can you believe that? I'll be looking something in the 70s here, but the range is tightening up. It looks as if there is support at 95, so it'll just better beak at 95. We'll sit in front of 96. See if we can get filled there. That's the look on that. I want to mention GameStop as well. Every time this one doesn't move, I keep forgetting to mention it. GameStop's having a decent day, guys. Like, yeah, it's up 2%. AMC's not up. GameStop is up. It's done a decent amount of shares, 14.5 million shares. Got a good looking chart. That's what I can see there is a sequentially higher lows. You put in the IB low there. We make another higher low, yet another one, and we're now dancing with the 10 at 21.70, 21 3/4. I personally would be looking for a dip trade, whether you want to take that off the 20 or the 50. I would be looking for a higher low until that pattern is no longer valid. You can see an upward channel there, save and except for this breach over here, which happened on much higher volume. That explains the whole move there with GameStop. It bounced off the 50 period here and VWAP, but I would rather respect this upward channel. So I'm going to put a dip trade here at 2160. See if I can get filled on
that's a nice
GameStop.
look.
Yeah,
I
not that bad, huh?
I like that.
What do you got?
I'm just staring at PDD. The reason I'm staring at it so much is because, like, you know, we don't have a ton of risk left, so we're trying to be pretty, you know, careful, cautious. What I have noticed though is every time we get to this line I drew, PDD runs away like a scared cat, and I'm like, so part of that terrifies me because I think if we do, terrifies is a strong word. I shouldn't have said that, but I think usually when you see stuff like that, because that's a lot of what Tesla was doing in those shorts I was getting in, is it would set up beautifully, and then when it did push, it would do so with the viciousness. Yeah, we have to get out of this just because I simply do not have that much literally left in here. So we're gonna get out. Pardon? Oh, Ramin making the pun of the year, saying I'm being pretty darn diligent. PDD. I want to give her, she's smiling. Go ahead and shout out to Ramin
She's
there.
so proud of herself.
Oh.
I love it.
Thank you so much, Ramin. Did you see that? Did you see what she just did?
No, I didn't. What did she do? She's giving me the finger. All right, thanks, Ram Ram.
Shout it out. Also, I enjoyed her pun, pretty darn diligent. Yeah, this was not my trading day of the year. I'm still slightly positive on PDD.
Hey!
So thank goodness I was pretty darn diligent. Shout out once again to Ram Ram. But yeah, you know, like I said, it's just about taking trades that you want to take, trying to take trades. People are saying Paramount is moving. So it's going to be paramount that we look at that.
Oh
my gosh, it is. Are you seeing any news on this?
Okay, yeah,
Like I
there's
said, I've had
definitely
some
something
water-related issues.
And there's so many things that can happen.
Paramount's
Here it
every
is.
5 minutes. Oh, there's news.
Paramount, independent committee to review Skydance's enhanced merger offer soon, improving terms for non-voting and voting shareholders. That came in as well multiple times a day at the quarter of the hour. So that just came in at 1:45, new headline.
Yes. Also, for someone who spent way too much time thinking about this deal, I would like to talk about my thoughts on the whole Paramount thing for a second, if I may, because I think they could be relevant. So what I've seen is there's this back and forth where Apollo really and Sony really want Paramount. They have exclusively, continuously been offering $26 billion. That is the only level they've been offering. And so for some reason, the stock pops every time they reiterate this offering. It's always the same offering, guys. It's always $26 billion. So every time they do that, Paramount stock goes up. But the thing is, Sherry Redstone and co., she wants Skydance. I don't know why she wants Larry Ellison's son, David, but she really wants David Ellison and Skydance.
It's not even the highest bid.
It's not. She really wants Skydance, though, but the shareholders don't want Skydance, which is why that actually could be a nice note that they're saying they're trying to improve options for shareholders. I don't know why this is something I've been so fascinated with. I find Paramount Plus to be a slightly questionable streaming service. I've talked a lot about how I don't love the user interface on that. Why is it so hard to go back and forth 10 seconds? It really shouldn't be. But my opinions on Paramount Plus notwithstanding, I think that if they can get that together and they can get their act together, and that I think it's interesting. But yeah, that's my take on this. I think if Sherry and the shareholders,
wow,
if they can all get on the same page on that, I think that would be great. But I think it's very clear Sherry exclusively wants Skydance and everyone else wants Sony and Apollo. Also, thank you so much to Francisco Infante for the $1.99 super chat. AMD long. I mean, it's kind of hard right now because AMD has been so long all day. It's like kind of where does it stop? But here's actually an interesting area. I love the timing of the super chat, Francisco Infante. Look at this big old area here, 167.90. Look where we're bouncing. That's right, 166. English, 167.90 / 168. So this could be interesting, but I want to say, Francisco, the things I don't love about going long AMD right now are look at this little pause we had at 168.50, and now not one but two negative topping tail candles. I'd be very cautious getting involved at this level, especially given this beautiful move up we had. So that would be my take on that. Be very cautious. Make sure you have everything ready to go.
All right, I'm just going to remind you about the trades that I'm on before I take off and get to the big screen. If you didn't have your say so far, you are now precluded from having your say because voting cuts off at 10 to the hour. So right at 150, that's the end of that. All right, Foot Locker was able to wet my beak a little bit on some profits here. I'm still convinced there's a buyer at the $half area. It's not letting me print at 90, so I took a little bit out here. on FL. The trade that I'm most happy with is this Amazon trade as it comes right back down into 90. So I was able to hold this one for the rest of the day. I'm still keeping my eyes on the following small cap gappers, guys. MNTS holding above the volume weighted average price, up 67%, looks great. ENVX coming off a little bit highs right now at the 10 or the 20. Keep your eyes for a good pullback on that. And GameStop, guys, GameStop is in play today. It is a clear upward channel. I had a dip trade here at 21 mid 60s. It looks like it's holding the 10 period right now. I was trying to base it off the lower trend line there to take a dip trade. That probably won't come in on the midday show, but I want to mention that to you guys because the big kahunas are about to come on. And, you know, Neil or Sean could be trading GameStop. They both have in the past. So keep your eyes on this one. GME up on its own today. AMC in Redsville. I'll see you guys at the big screen.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Sharif, for he is green and he is in green. He'll be on the green screen.
Hey.
And, you know, much to the chagrin of someone named Neil Roberts in the chat, who I don't know who that is, but he was in the chat there. Stash is not a ticker. That is not a ticker that we can join in. Sorry, I was trying to, you know, that was being kind of funny.
All right, guys, I'll see you in a bit.
Trying to be cheeky. Yeah, thank you so much, Sharif, for killing that. And no, I was just making a little joke about the whole join mustache thing. I thought that was kind of funny. So shout out to Neil as well for getting me those Lucy shorts, which I didn't even end up using. And honestly, kind of disappointed in myself because there were opportunities to use these shorts. That 96 level was great. I should have just gotten involved. That one was great. But I'm still happy I got the shorts. I did secure the shorts, whether or not I use them, so I want to thank Neil again for that. I was just having fun. We're just joking around. I was just laughing about the whole mustache thing. There, good times to be had. Darwin in the chat, Stash USDT. Now it's becoming a crypto-related name. So, oh, Neil's not joking about the mustache. To be clear, the mustache. So, good times there. Also, I want to talk about Tesla here for a second because my word, every time Tesla comes to an area of resistance, Tesla, it's like, no, I'm actually okay. I want to keep going. Like, look at this. So many, I mean, clearly, like I said, the trades I'm proudest today are on this Tesla where we were 0 for 5 because I loved each one of these opportunities and I managed them okay. But yeah, I mean, does Tesla want to stop? Not that I can tell. This topping tail candle honestly doesn't even really give me pause because we've had those before on Tesla and Tesla seems to care not at all. So I think for Tesla, there is a fire in its belly right now. It's got a supercharge, and I think it continues to look like it's going to the upside. Neil's saying we need to analyze the stash. I mean, I was joking one time. We could probably do like support resistance levels on it. I don't know. Who knows? But yeah, so shout out to that. Also, Apple curling down here. I know Sharif's talking about this. Oh, wow. Sharif totally called this level on Apple. Like that 192.20s. Oh, my gosh. Apple falling down from there. Levels I would watch on Apple as someone who was involved in it to mix success. That 191.75 area is kind of interesting. I think that could be an area to watch there. What else is going on in these markets? What else do people want to look at? 4 minutes left here on the day. Happy I was pretty darn diligent on PDD. Shout out again to Ramin for that fabulous PDD pun, which I really enjoyed. Yeah, like I said, didn't have a ton of risk in this. So the second I saw us kind of creeping up above there, I said, you got to go. So good times there. Hashtag or join the Stash Nation, says Bora. That's pretty funny there. I got a kick out of that. But yeah, what else is happening in these markets? I want to see what people are looking. Let's take a look at Para again. I think it's Paramount that we look at Paramount. Look at this. We had this nice little curl up here, then this great pop on that news that apparently once again, Skydance and Cherry Redstone are turning Paramount to Cherry Greenstone. So they're talking about that right now. Incredible Mr. Lib wants to look at TGT, so I'll take a quick look at TGT here. Oh, this is great. I love this even more because look, we have this pop up into 192.12. We get it twice. Then we come up, we come back down. Look where we have this little bounce. That's right, 191.40. Wait, 149 something words, 149.10. Then we continue to go to the upside. That is a really, really great look on TGT. So I think if you had a nice price target there to the upside, probably got that. But thank you so much to Trader Revolution for the $2 super chat. Look at LPA, daily and minute time frame. I know nothing about this. I'm going to have to do, get my GPA up here on LPA. What is this. Is this the Amex LPA? There we go. Okay, not a ton of volume here on the LP. I'm going to be really honest. We have 130,000 shares, so that's not too much going on here. But yeah, on the minute chart, I have to be really honest with you. It's a little bit harder to analyze a chart like this when you do have such little volume. There is something that we had a couple pops here to this 58 level, continued to go up. What is the deal with LPA? I need to look this up and find out. So this is Logistics Property of the Americas. I'm gonna go check FinViz, see what's shaking with LPA. But let's take a look as well, LPA here on the daily, because we wanted to look at the daily of that. Oh, and my chart just went down. Let's find that. But yeah, I mean, thank you so much for the super chat here, Trader Revolution. So there's not been like a great analysis here on this, just because it is a little bit harder to read these ones with low volume, but hopefully the daily chart gives us something to mull over here. LPA, Logistics Properties of the Americas. Yeah, this does look like real estate. LPA. Okay, so yeah, this is, 91% insider owned. Okay, yeah, I mean, this daily chart, this is great. Definitely a lot of relative volume over the last few days, but I think it is worth noting here. This is a huge volume candle, and it's only 130,000 shares, so definitely a little bit less volume in Logistics Property of Americas. Nice continued upward momentum, though. Great move up here. But again, this is not a chart on the daily or the minute that unfortunately gives us a lot to analyze. So shout out to you there, though, Trader Revolution. Thank you so much for the super chat. And I cannot wait to see you guys all tomorrow on our last day of futures contracts trading. But right now, we're going to have to bid you adieu. See you tomorrow, same bat time, and the same bat channel. Right now, though, we have Sharif at the big screen.
Guys, welcome to the program where you have your say. It's voting time from 11 to 1:50 every day, where you get to choose